We have here that Roll Star Grimhow
Mm-hmm.
is seeking some information. Some information on a certain war. Well,
Look for information on a certain war.
no, certain war. Said war priest.
Mm.
Let's see. Yeah, I've got your checks made over a matter of a few days. You've collected quite a number of rumors. So, what Roth has learned thus far is that Baragon, Blue Sword, has had a hard time dealing with the people here in Daggerford, and was resentful for a long while when they spurned him from being a member of the council. But after the rage of dragons last year, they finally gave him a seat once they realized how necessary it is to have more military strength on your side during such attacks.
Mm.
The council was worried he'd depart Daggerford in frustration and take with him all the followers that were loyal to him in Tempest. He has eagerly taken to his new role and has been using his influence to further strengthen the warriors of Daggerford and build his congregation. If the ducal court was still around, chances are he'd have wanted the title of Master at Arms, the former position of the late Lord Llewellyn Longhand.
Mm. Llewellyn Long. The name keeps coming up. Mr.
Baragon's been,
Longhand.
word is, Baragon's been looking for a decent plot of land to own outside of the walls of Daggerford so that he can build a fort worthy of the followers of Tempest. Well, there are people that aren't really happy with getting too militaristic, and some are even worried that one day, should maybe Baragon see the governor mayor as too inept to rule, maybe even stage a coup. Although there's not really a lot of people saying that. Roth usually hears that from the types that are very doom and gloom, negative aspect on life, or just a little bit too paranoid.
Mm.
But some of them feel like um it could be a possibility at sometime down the road because he doesn't like Governor Mayor Linod at all. They've argued over they've actually argued quite often on how wasteful Linod has been using the town's budget. But not everyone sees Baragon as some sort of obsessed meathead. Many of the youth are inspired by him and have the motivation to learn the art of warfare for when war comes knocking again, which Daggerford has been involved in quite a number of times within the last couple of decades. They've
Mm-hmm.
been through a lot in the past. They've been through a lot in the past decade alone, and Baragon's role has been just as much appreciated as it has been critiqued. He's known to care deeply for his family, but he's argued with his son Brom multiple times on how he wants to live his life. And he was almost considering sending Brom off to a fighting school, but his wife Janasil had put a stop to that. Bergen has been in port with the Sun Elf Lord Elortian Floshen, the second son of the famous Lord Elorfindar Floshen of House Floshen. Lord Elortian came upon a rare suit of magic armor recently, said to have belonged to some famous warrior in history. He's entrusting its security to Baragon, who is to have it displayed in his chapel for all to admire, and should someone have the wealth, may even purchase it from Lord Elocian, with Baragon's chapel receiving a percentage of the sale as payment for keeping it guarded safely.
Hmm.
During another night, during one evening, as you're uh, in a tavern, doing your collecting of the info, you are, in fact, you are at the Happy Cow. Um, Hoping to kill two birds with one stone in case Khan and his gang show up, since this was a frequent tavern that they would hang out in compared to the other places in town. Um, when you see Varagon walking in, goes up to the barkeep, called a halfling who owns the Happy Cow by the name of Cold Bar Hard Cheese.
Oh man, that's probably one of the dopest halfling names I've ever heard. They always got cool ass surnames. That's a good one, man. Hard cheese.
I saw that too. I was like,
Oh
oh my
my
god.
god.
Oh shit.
I thought Cynthia's was dope. Sore bottom, but hard cheese is dope. So. Shit. I'm gonna have to make a character who is a cousin or some shit. I need that last name, so
He
that's
said
just
he's a
dope.
hard cheese. Um, in fact, hard cheese is he recently um not to I'd say within the last year, he's now the head of the the Farmers Guild. Hold on, let me check. And the biggest reason he got elected was because um, uh because he's halfling and the halflings wanted somebody to represent them for once in Daggerford. So he got that was like half the reason he got the vote. Who got in to meet up quotas? Yeah, full bar hard cheese. Yeah, it was the Farmers Guild. He's the guild master of the Farmers Guild. And the Farmers Guild actually includes everyone who's an animal handler, baker, farmer, milkmaid, miller, shepherds. Yeah, so yeah, some guild um they'll represent like more than one working class if it's like a relatable field. Like I know the Smiths Guild um covers blacksmiths, whitesmiths, wainwrights, jewelers. I think that's what confused me about Corbus, because I was like, how is Corbus in the Smiths Guild? I'm like, I thought wouldn't he be in the Jewelers Guild? And then I was reading up and I was like, oh, the jewelers are represented by the Smiths Guild. So, but but yeah, he gets him and Fullbar. He greets Fullbar. They chat up a little bit. Gets a notice that he doesn't order one but two drinks. Takes the big mugs too. Takes one, drinks a little bit of it. He grabs the other and he turns towards Ross' direction. And he meanders over to him, his armor clanging with the weight. Shove his iron shod boot on the wooden floor. And he sits down and he plops the drink. This is on me. And he slides it over to you.
Oh, I'll be happy to oblige. Thank you.
That there's the finest ale brewed by the Iron Axe store.
Iron Axe dwarves, how you say? Takes a big gulp of it, mouthful, swishes it around.
Indeed, it was a strong,
uh, and
strong,
swallows.
fiery taste to it with a hint of earthy, like an earth tone to it.
Mm.
I guess like a what would a earth tone? I guess like a nutty flavor, like a little aftertaste to it, and um,
Flops a bit and puts
but yeah,
the mug down.
had your chest burning a bit. Some strong
His
spirit.
chest, yeah, he feels his chest opening up from all the for all the hops and everything else. Mm, this is a strong drink indeed. May we drink to the prosperity of Daggerford.
Right. He takes another swig of his drink, lays it down. He kicks back, the feet, and he's like, "So, you get right down to it, Roth. Seems to me I've been hearing you that you're quite curious about me lately.
Um,
Well, here I am.
mm, Mr. Bluesword. Well, she says, Baragon, is it? You've been around for a long time. You've seen a lot of action. I know you are only doing what's best for Daggerfoot. Keeping its people uh, keeping its people providing them with uh, some military experience and trying to mm, keep those that come to. He's from Tempest, right? He's a Tempest knight, right?
Yeah,
Also, right?
yeah, he's
And
wearing
keeping
Tempest.
the warriors that come to your doorstep, to your temple, keeping the finest warriors that you can muster. It seems pretty noble. But why retire to such a life with a history such as of such a history that um what's the word for that? Having like a reputation that precedes you. Having such a reputation that precedes you of being the great legendary warrior all these years. It's
Such a
not every day you see elves willing to settle down and in Daggerford of all places, easily water deep, in one of the bigger cities would be worthy of such a champion of the people, such as yourself.
talk as if you know me well, Raw. But, alas, you do not. Starters, I am only of half elven blood.
Hmm.
As for your curiosity as to why I've settled here, legendary, such a strong term. No, being in a few mighty battles, I wouldn't call that making me legendary. No, there are those greater than I. Why here in Daggerford and not Waterdeep? I like how much more quiet it is. Also, there's less competition and less politics. Simple as
Less
that.
politics. I've been here for only how long have I been stationed here? Maybe a couple months.
Oh man, you've been here like 6 months. 6 months.
Seems like the politicians, and those that run the place are having a bit too much fun aspiring to the lords of Waterdeep. There's a lot of things not running as well as they should. That's what I'm saying.
Hmm. In that we are in agreement. Oh, let's go. Takes another big swig. It's like, although now that I've now that I have been piquing and satisfying your curiosity, I have some of my own. You one of them doom blades, Kalembor, kind of uh kind of inquisitor in a sense.
I
Could have,
am.
but well, you could have fooled me. You talk and speak the kind of information as if you were trained at the Mosque of Tyr to the east of here. Thought your concern was putting the dead back in place where they belong. Unless you've heard some strange stories about me becoming some undead warlord. And he like laughs at
You.
that. Like he laughs at it so hard. It's like he's laughing at his own joke. Like the idea of something like that being so preposterous. He just takes another swig.
Mhm. I mean, I guess that's an opportunity to sense motive him. like, like it's not. I
I
think
mean,
he's. I don't think
yeah.
he's. I don't think he's lying. I think he's. I think it really is a preposterous idea. but I'll take the opportunity to get a gut feeling.
Roth could he could sense that you don't there's like no you don't get like any sort of gut feeling, but you could just sense that from his demeanor that um he's under this he's putting on somewhat of a facade in that like he's a little annoyed. Well, not annoyed. I would say it seems as if underneath his his gestures that he's um a little offended at like and confused at like being investigated by seemingly being investigated uh uh by Clember, right?
Mhm. Roth then will drink also when he takes his drink, and then he would say, "Please don't feel that there is any suspicions about you being involved with heresies that would require the um that would require the that would require me to look into on behalf of the faith. It's just that from what I've been hearing, there are some rumors about you, and people I tend to put my faith in. I like it is good practice to investigate, or should I say, at least uh, see just how true such tales might be. You would be surprised. Some of the most innocent and far removed from corruption one might think or one might be regarded. Those are the very ones that happen to be involved in the most shadier, the more shadier of deeds that man involves themselves in.
Hmm.
Besides, Brahm, as hard as you are on him, you have a good son. Spirited as he might be. And I would hope that he would get that from a most noble and upright, forthcoming father, such as yourself. Um, Perhaps I might change the topic of conversation, or this angle rather. Being that you've been a part of Daggerford, and you've seen the many more sides of this living, almost this a living creature of a city, as multifaceted as a man might be. Daggerford, I'm sure, holds also many mysteries that may not be so obvious. Are there any such matters that perhaps you yourself may not be able to deal with directly that might be clawing at the back of your mind?
Takes another swig, and he's like, "Well, sure are asking for quite a list there. Tell you this, I wouldn't be concerned about me. No, you can worry about me when you see me walking around smelling like grave dirt. As for a concern, here's something at the top of the list that'll work for one such as yourself. When Delphon finishes getting that information on the green worms, you check into that. I don't like the idea of the people here and the soldiers have to fight, and the militia that have to guard around the duchy, encountering those creatures and becoming one of them. At least I am assuming.
Yes, lost souls they are. It is actually a pity. Imagine fighting for beside your countrymen, giving life and limb to protect your home, and then falling in battle, perhaps even heroically, only to be revived and then be turned against the very home that which you died trying to protect.
Indeed, it is a terrible, terrible fate, and a terrible not only to see your brethren fall in battle, but to have to fight against them should they be risen by foul magic. Uh, some of the devils, the Dragon Spear War, had the capability of doing that.
Dragon Spear War. This is. How much do I know about the Dragon Spear War? I feel like I keep hearing about it, but I'm not sure
It was a
if it's an.
war. It was a war where a portal to hell itself from Dragon Spear Castle was torn open, and the devils of the nine hells had gathered um, evil humanoids of various races, goblins, orcs, bugbears, ogres, even. Um, and together they were launching attacks um, along the western sword coast, south of Daggerford, and they came up as far as Daggerford, and they had to hold them all. It was
Mm,
Daggerford, and hired mercenaries and adventuring companies, and even a contingent from Waterdeep also came to Daggerford's aid, and it
Hmm.
was a war against the fiends and the minions that they gathered up. They basically were beating back hell itself.
Mm. Speaking of hell, I imagine devils. No, he goes, mm, hell itself made manifest in Daggerford. I could only imagine the lives lost trying to uh, defend against such an assault. Kind of whispers like mumbles a short prayer for the dead, and then once he feels that he's like giving it like a moment of silence, takes another drink, and he says, the where did you hear those stories from? You lived he lived through those times, right? He fought in that war?
He fought in the war, yeah.
He fought in that war, right? So would Roth know that if there were lizardkin involved in that war or around that time? Like how the lizard people are like involved in.
I don't think the lizard folk. uh, I mean, there were maybe a small tribe of lizard folk from the lizard marsh that were caught up in that. Well, not caught up, but like had joined up with the devils. Um, but it wasn't like all the lizard folk of the lizard marsh. There's several different tribes that live there, and there was only one that had actually helped out with, and they're no longer around. They were beaten along with the armies and scattered, probably joined up with
Hmm.
other tribes that would take
Hmm.
them in. But the lizard folk like influence in the army was minuscule.
Okay. All right. So that's it then. Just looking into the green worms after what do you say? What's the name of that person? He said check into the green worms
Oh,
after
he
such and
said
such.
oh he said yeah, after Delphon finishes
Delphon.
his research, which is he's the famous wizard of Daggerford who um gets consulted quite often when it comes to magical matters, and he
Oh, on the
has
borrow, that guy.
yeah,
Delphon,
yeah,
Delphon,
Delphin on the
Delphon.
ball, yeah. He lives in this tower in the northern walls of
Right.
Daggerford, and
Mm-hmm.
he was given that um in
Isn't
exchange for
this the
in exchange for um protecting the town and aiding the town with his magic, and he's known for having a number of students that he it's one of those rare wizards, in fact, that actually fully enjoys teaching many students the arcane arts.
well, he is doing quite the service for Mistra and the Weave and Hope, giving people new souls access to the art.
Indeed. Speaking as you
How would
spoke,
you describe Delphon, by the way? I've
Delphi.
also heard rumors about the old sage. I don't know if this is canon in your campaign yet, but in the best in the research that I did, I could have swore Delphon's trying to become a lich.
No, no, not Delphon. Is it Delphon? No, no, no. There was another.
Son.
I know who you're talking about. There actually was another wizard. Oh, you're thinking of the court wizard. You're thinking of what is his name?
Yeah, yeah, it might be. All right, if it's another one, yeah, then there's another. It's probably him.
You're
I only
thinking
saw like only maybe one or two prominent wizards in fucking Daggerford, and
oh, that's his
I
name.
thought that was
You're
him.
thinking of Gwydion.
Gwydion,
Gwydion, the court wizard.
Gwydion,
Yeah.
Gwydion, and it's Gwydion. Oh, okay. I was like, oh, okay, so he's gonna this undead and necromantic, you know,
Yeah, you're
person over
thinking.
here trying to investigate the fucking words is also trying to become a lich. Oh, we're giving this guy access to
No.
fucking evidence and stuff, and now he's gonna feed us bullshit while he uses. Like, oh,
Nah.
that's how he gets involved. I was piecing together the wrong shit. All right, all right, all right, all right.
So he goes, speaking of home, he stands up, he's like, "Do I need to head back? Roth, I've thanked you and your friends before, but I'll say it again.
Companions. I would say companions.
Companions.
Friends. We Doomblades don't make too many of those.
Mm.
But this was certainly the pleasure was all mine. And he bows, looks up, and he says, please, uh, if it's any, if you would, if you wouldn't mind, you could invite or pass me an invitation. I would come to your temple. I hear you have many fine warriors looking to spar with those who would like to prove themselves in battle.
Mm. Yes, do come by. They need a warriors always need a variety in their training sessions. Can never be too prepared for the types of battles that one must face, both externally and from within. The hardest battle are the ones that you have to fight with yourself.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Here's a question. Are you familiar with any of the orc tribes in this area? I'm sure they've made themselves.
I have heard reports of some orc scouts of a tribe not native to this area. We're not sure of who. We thought it might have been. We do have the only issue that we've had with orcs recently are the ones south of here, and I believe I have the name of this tribe. If I don't, I'll have to send it.
All right.
Um, ah, I did. Okay. The orcs of to the south and the Sword Hills. I think it's the Sword Hills amongst the western regions of the Sword Hills. The Skin Tear tribe.
Skin tier.
The Skin Tear tribe. We killed them on sight. The orcs of that tribe had
Does
worked.
Roth, oh, does that name like mean anything to Roth?
Does he have? Mm,
Local? No, he doesn't.
yeah. Okay.
I don't think so. Anyway. Hang on.
like the Skin Tear tribe orcs, one of the orc tribes that was
No.
aiding the devils of the Dragon Spear Wars, and their shamans. A few of them are known to be some sort of. A few of their shamans are well versed in fiend binding. They practice the magics of the lower
Fiend
plane
binding.
of the lower planes. Indeed, they're the best of their fiend binders, or even have even known, just for fun, to bind vile lower planar fiends, spirits of them, into the local wildlife. We've had to deal with a fiendish boar, deer, mountain lion. Awful, awful tribe.
Hmm. When you, if you and your men uh, bring in another report of this tribe, uh, if you wouldn't mind bringing it to my attention one way or another.
I will send
Fiend
word.
binding.
Indeed.
This is the first time I'm hearing of such a art. Mm.
I will have a message sent your way with news.
Well then, Baragon, it's been a pleasure.
Indeed, Rosgar. And as I've told Sophelia, be sure to come to the chapel, not just for training, but I'll see to it that you receive a fine and blessed weapon by my hands, if need be. It is the least I could do for you and your companions for saving my son. Not once, but twice. Well met. And he like grabs his cloak, walks out the
The billows behind him,
door.
yeah. That's what I'm
Like, walks by. And just
Mm,
as she was about to like, you know, maybe call it a night, maybe call it, a night at the tavern to be done, head out,
yeah.
night, and you go to grab, before you go to grab the drink till you finish it off,
Hmm.
it gets swiped. And you look over
Oh.
to see who swipes it, and you see walking right by you, taking her hood off, revealing the somber half-elven face of your mentor Helora, and she takes a swig of the drink.
And Roth goes, how long were you standing there?
Long enough to know that you, Rosgar, straying off the road a bit. You think I just look around to make sure that the undead are put in their place? I gotta make sure the Doomblades are too. I know some stuff about Baragon. You need not worry about him. No, Rosgar. You know what you should be concerned with. Have you any information on the Ascended Lovers?
I
Talks.
know you have mentioned the lovers before.
Ah, not yet, is what I'm hearing. I see, I see. Come, walk with me outside. We must discuss matters. I've received reports of what has gone on with the Ebon Triad underneath the mines of Dervil Iron Axe.
You mean to tell me cultists of the Ascended Lovers have a hand in what took place in the mines?
No, that much is known. They don't have anything to do with the Ebon Triad. But
Hmm.
still, it's worth looking into. I I hear even though they preach to put the dead at rest, just like any Kalimbarite, however, they combine their faith with that of Mistras and have no issues with working with the arts of necromancy.
Hmm.
I want to make sure that their faith is but, how should I put this, not one that would sully the growing faith of our Church of Kalembor, but one that seems to just be a mere fad of the local region.
Bad. He starts like chuckling to himself. It's like, "Hmm,
So as you're walking out for the night,
yeah,
he she goes she goes, I know much about what transpired down there because I had to go down there. They needed help cleaning up a certain mess. Oh, and by the way,
you
it wasn't
two were informed about the
not
undying
informed.
Kenkus?"
Oh, not just informed. I offered my services to help. I was there with Elgita, Fairgon, and Sherlin as we cleared out the rest of the Kenku. Hurst's Kenku.
And Bando.
Bando supplied us, indeed, with both magic and the gear necessary.
Hmm.
Also, it wasn't just the cursed Kenku.
There was more.
You see, you have much more to learn, Roth. I see that you've gained quite experience. You still have a long way to go. You see, Simota, after a number of days, also returned. It was to my surprise that as we were clearing the Kenkus, I've had to deal with one, not one, but two. Well, I shouldn't say I, we. We've had to deal with one or two.
Good thing you were there.
Indeed, I was aiding.
Sound isn't the problem then. You would do best to tell me how you eliminated that threat.
Ah, you see, after defeating the Simota, then what you must do is either destroy or consecrate the area to which, or the objects to which it is tied to.
Consecration magic. That is not a blessing I have received from the great lord.
Wow. No, us Doomblades don't necessarily need to concern ourselves with that, unless you choose to. We leave that to our clerics, our faithful steward of the Judge of the Dead.
Right. It wouldn't
Now,
be some of wait, well, I'm not gonna act like there's more Inquisitors out there. There's not that many. But hmm. So I guess that means that we it was a job well done. And then sending you you guys in to clean up. Sounds like you're just bragging now, Halora.
well, maybe a little. Something for you to look up to. Need you motivated, Raw. although it doesn't take much. You are well on your way.
Well, well, I'll admit the politics of Daggerford is not something that I'm exactly used to
No,
from being
you're right.
out in the wilds for so many years. My people, politics were a lot simpler. You were that close to power, and you were unable to secure it by simply being stronger. Well, then you died. And
Well,
someone else stronger would take it. Things here are a lot more. No, in the in the world of men, within their civilized walls, power comes in many different forms, not just in personal might and magic, but in coin and station. Things aren't always what they seem. And there's one thing I've learned, that you must always keep your eyes open.
indeed, Roth. However, don't get too embroiled. It's a mess we don't need to involve ourselves in. That's concerns for the living. Our
Mm,
concerns are those of the dead that don't want to rest. The living
I'll
have
be
enough.
sure to remember that.
The living have enough problems, but we can take care of one of them. Especially one as unnatural as the undead.
You know, I've been meaning to tell you that that hypothetical. Could you say whatever would be a more simpler way of saying hypothetical? Um, that hypothetical situation I told you about last time.
Hmm.
Well, it seems that that giant black pool that you saw when you went into the mines, uh, that person was tempted by the Faithless One and sought to investigate its merits and found himself pulled below its waters. And when he returned to us, he was changed, corrupted even. His form far more embraced by the undead.
What kind?
What kind of corruption?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the kind that seemingly makes you uh makes you hunger like the undead for blood. One of my companions tried deducing the name of such a corruption. Do we have it? Do we have a name? If we don't have a name, then he's just gonna explain the.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, she goes,
Okay.
she goes, among the foulest, vampirism. Shakes her
Oh
head.
well, yeah.
She goes, well,
Indeed.
best way to
It
handle
certainly
that.
puts me in a position that I do not want to be in.
No, Raw. Indeed, when it comes to dealing with this, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be so straightforward. All I can say is, when the time comes to put Lucian, well, I shouldn't say Lucian, but she says, to put your
Yeah,
companion.
like that's
I'm
crazy.
like,
You
right.
know who he is?
Like,
That's
is it?
wild.
When the time comes to put your companion to rest, it must be done. But in the meantime,
That's a
you
little
are,
dark, don't you think?
in the meantime, if there is a chance, if your companions have learned maybe of a way, or can seek for a way, to either stall or reverse the process.
That's why I was telling you about it.
Well, there are some ways, but hmm, none of them are easy.
Mm,
You know what? I've never given it much thought. I've always been too satisfied with putting them back in their graves. I never thought about what it would take to bring them back. Although some don't want to return. However, when it comes to vampirism, that is among the hardest to turn back. But there's hope, for he has not fully turned. I will
there has to
seek
be a way.
I will seek some information for you on this. To save someone from such
That
a state would indeed be part of our calling, as much as it is to slay them.
mm, that much we are. Well, not that much. As precisely what I'm my concern. He is a well. My companion is a very interesting fellow, and I believe his misguided decision to yield to such transmutative to yield to such a process. It's a weakness of man. He knows not what he's done. Um, and for that I take pity. He should have a chance to reverse such a situation if possible.
Well,
I am trusting you with this, Halora.
he shall have that chance then. One less
Do what you
tragedy
can.
would be great.
Do what you can to find information on this. And I would be personally um indebted to you.
You have my word. I will look into this and send you information as soon as I get something concrete. Now on to a matter now concerning the Faceless One. I was able to learn a few interesting things about his past. Faceless One was born a death touched, very similar to your friend, your companion.
Mm.
Although
He
Faceless
mentioned
One,
that.
Faceless One's lineage was unknown, although it was rumored to be that of a ghoul.
Mm.
He went by the name Doom.
Spell it.
He said
Oh, I didn't. I would have never gotten that spelling. Cool Doom.
he was born amongst the Mercolite to a mother that had him used as a mere experiment for their cleric, as expected of those who serve the former god of the dead. May he forever stay that way. It was the belief of many Mercolites that to carry the line of undeath was to be that much closer to their patron. Apparently, Doom took more to the arcane arts than he did the priesthood. Trained in necromancy he was, and due to his bloodline, they said he was able to harness the blood within him, and he became a cruoromancer.
Mm. Churoro. Churoro. A churoro answer. Like what?
This is to the
Oh my
satisfaction of the
god.
church. He had dreams of his status amongst the servants of Merkel, but all that came to an end thanks to the chime of troubles when Merkel was slain. Last was heard, Doom was very unnerved. They said he constantly questioned how can the god of the dead also himself be dead? And so he journeyed to learn more about Merkel. He did not care for Sirik, and he abhorred Kalimdor. And so as he found out about Merkel's past, and learning that Merkel was once a mortal, just like ourselves right now, before he ascended, it intrigues Koldum more. One of those tomes below, he discovered one in particular that intrigued him. This tome was called Another Tome of Trask. Within that
Mm.
tome, it is said that Trask was once a Netherese archmage from the Netheral Empire thousands of years ago. And within that book, he had written about the way of the Ebon Triad, which indeed apparently has been the origin of the cult. As they studied,
Mm.
as they studied this, so he wholeheartedly believed in it, came to find others who had followed the way, was enamored by the prospect of the prophecies told within, believed that Merkel's death was just a step to an even more grand scenario wherein a new overgod could rise in the realms. And he wanted to be a part of all of that. And he went to work. And it's what made him join the Triad and seek out Kius worms. Changed his name
Mm.
and wore that mask as if I believe maybe to distance himself from his old life as a follower of Merkel in order to convince the others that it wasn't just a bias towards Merkel that he had. He needed to gain the trust of all the other members.
Mm.
Because currently, according to them, they're all separate parts of the whole. And they want to bridge it all together and bring about this supposed age of worms. We
Well,
need to know, we need to definitely learn more on this. And should you find any more information, and be sure to contact me. As for how to contact me, which I'm sure is what you're wondering, I wish for you to go and meet up with Mithnor, for
mm, yeah,
he is a member of the solemn order of of the Silent Shroud, secretly,
yeah. He's one of the grave diggers. We've met.
and he'll be busy indeed for all the bodies that were had to be collected from the mines, including, unfortunately, though a few of those of the from Daggerford.
Sorry about that. I'm scared. Let me stop. I maybe we killed them too. The bodies we left down there. That's fucked up. Um, I will. I will. I will rendezvous with Myth Noir.
Speak
Should
to
I
him.
have to get in touch with you?
Indeed, he will help you with that. In fact, I take you to him now. So, two of you journey outside the gate, make your way towards Daggerford's graveyard, the western farmlands. As you come to the gate, Mithnor comes up to them, sees the two of you, and he's dressed in, um, he's also he's half moon elf himself, and he's got like just this grim look on his face with these eyes that look like he hasn't slept in fucking days.
He needs that keep watch spell.
But he comes over to the gates and he's like, "Hmm." He nods in greetings and he unlocks the gate, opens it, and then closes it back up. Because it's nighttime, you know. They want nobody wandering around when they shouldn't be. Um, or the other way around, in case something decides to come out the grave, they stay. They got to get past the gate. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, he turns to the two of you and he's like, "Your star, Halora." And he greets you with
Roth does it
with
also.
the Kalimba greeting.
Mm.
So,
Um, Myth Noir. How is everything here? I imagine he's worked with Mythnor a few times by now. If he's not good friends with him, he's always at the gravesite. So
yeah, I mean, he's
I
busy,
think,
here making sure, like he helps maintain the grave sites, make sure that like um make sure the bodies get, make sure that the graves get dug properly and the dead are interred properly and that the place is maintained, nothing's like overgrowing too much anywhere um
mm,
and giving the place to look over constantly and making sure that and also kind of kind of guarding the area as well in case kids or whatever decide to like fucking mess around or
hmm
um so he Halora's like turns to Mithnor and she also greets him and then she goes, Mithnor, I leave Roskar in your hand. Should he need to contact me, he will come to you. You must go spread the word of this, and also look into the supposed undead with the green worms. Should I find out anything, you two will be known about it. But Mithnor, it is time. Hrothgar is ready. Mithnor and Roth is like doesn't know exactly what she's talking about. Like ready for what? Like Mithnor's
Hmm.
like he nod. He's like, well done, Hrothgar. Come with me. Let us go.
It's like, what? Trying to piece it together, looking at her, looking at him. Because, well, he goes, Laura, you're always up to something. All right, I'm in. And then he starts following Mythnor, whatever it might be.
You follow Mithnor. You pass by monuments, old tombstones, more recent, either mausoleums um, or tombs or gravestones and solemn statues of usually they're like of angelic figures, although the angelic figures don't look exactly like they don't look like the typical stories of like a celestial being. More like as if
Mm.
these statues were more like guides to the afterlife. And as your group, I mean, as you and Mithnor are traveling through, he's like, "Don't tell Morris anything, by the way." And he says Morris. He's talking about the director who's in charge of all of the entire Daggerford graveyard. And he's like,
Oh,
as
yeah, you were talking
yeah,
about him before. Right, right, right.
yeah. He's like, as devoted to Kalemvor as that man is, too much of a liability. He's uh he's best suited as his current role. He doesn't need to be involved with what we do.
Morris Aldrin. Yes, he is quite devout.
He goes, and I tell you this, I am more than just a grave digger. And he raises a hand and you see like a wispy tendrils of magic form around.
Mm.
No one knows of this, Roth, but I will let you know.
Mm.
I am a necromancer, but not that kind. No, I have trained as a white necromancer. And
Go
it's like
on.
you notice as you guys are walking through, he's given like you see him constantly like giving a look over to to the area as if constantly on watch. Um, he leads you. He's like, yes. Unlike most necromancers, my art involves the more benign aspects of dealing with the undead. Use this magic more as an aid and a guide, and not so much as control or experimentation.
Mm. Well, The world is vast, so I understand it. Oh, and he's
I'm here.
gone.
No, I'm here.
um,
I'm just turning the fan on.
yeah, go ahead.
It's being hot in here for some reason.
But yeah, I was saying, things are not always so black and white. I'm aware that there is more than one way to live as a necromancer. I do not fear it. It is the abuse and the heresies that come with those that practice the art, as it stands in opposition to what we do.
Dave said, "What up?" And he said, "Ross and Nart."
He's a narc.
The Dave, Dave said, he said,
How
"Ross
is he
and
a
Nart."
narc?
I don't know.
No.
He takes you
My
to
dude's pulling me to the back. He's like, "Yo, tell me all you know about these undeads in the party."
he takes you to a small, secluded grove
Damn, son,
at
that's
the
crazy.
graveyard, and you see a mausoleum, and this mausoleum is made from marble. It's got being held up by the small stone building being held up by four pillars. Um, there doesn't seem to be any plaque or indication of like who may be interred here.
Hmm.
And each corner of the mausoleum has an angelic figure that looks more they look more like, not that they look sinister, they look very, very um detached.
Sad.
Not so much as sad, but just emotionless, as if
Some of
they
the
just
statues around that
the
have.
there's a no there's a statue at each corner of of the mausoleum
Hmm.
of four angelic figures, feminine in appearance, and they don't there's nothing comforting about them at all. It just feels, each of them feels like cold and emotionless and distant, but also solemn and and the other word I'm looking for, they just appear as if they are there,
But not
m-
there.
as if they are there to perform a duty as opposed to
Mm.
offer solace or comfort, or just the way they were sculpted. Um, as he comes up to to the stone door, um, you see suddenly a spirit rise in front of it.
Spirit rot.
That's a spirit rise. This spirit, shit. The spirit seems to be a human male in form, but so much as more of like their upper half. Um, and it looks like the arms and the other upper parts of its incorporeal body are made of white flesh. Then you notice that the legs and the torso look skeletal in appearance. The eyes appear to be deep, dark holes sunk into its face. Um, and it like rose up in front of the door. And but you notice Mythnor doesn't even react. Whereas I'm sure Roth is like, the fuck?
Yeah, Roth will
And
be like,
Roth is like, and Mockjaw is just like she kind of freezes up. Um, Mithnoa raises a hand and he goes, "Tell me, Roth, do you recognize this? You can roll knowledge, religion."
you were too happy about that.
Ew.
It's a creature, though, right?
Huh? Yeah,
It's
it's
still a
undead.
creature, right?
Yeah,
So I could use a collective stories.
yeah.
What's wrong with you, Lou? I said, yeah.
Well,
I said, yeah. Sounds like you just want me to fail this check or something. I don't know. Hold up. Hold up.
Everybody else is mid. I don't even know if they're here. They're
I'm
silent.
I'm a hearer. It's just nothing for me to really. I'm not present, so
Oh yeah, true. So you recognize this as a watch ghost.
A
They're
watch ghost.
a watch ghost. They're rare and powerful undead beings, and they are still intelligent in life, as you know, in the undeath state as they were in life. They are a unique undead that are able to detect magic, even illuminating such magic in an icy white light. They are bound to follow the wishes of their masters when created.
Mm.
But should their masters be killed, these watch ghosts, known as wild or free watch ghosts, would gain their free will and have been known to aid beings or seek revenge on those that caused their initial death. However, some watch ghosts were created, well, they are called watch ghosts. They're mainly created to keep, as the name implies, to keep watch over a site
Hmm.
or maybe a treasure room or something valuable, something else valuable, or
Hmm. When Roth's memory starts to recall what a watch ghost is, he um he starts to get more relaxed in its presence. He says, "A watch ghost. This is your doing? Did you summon this here?"
I would never use such magic to create one, not from an unwilling participant anyway. The faith of Kalimvor does allow watch ghosts, but only if willing. They are rare indeed, and it is even more rare to find one willing to continue even in the afterlife to perform their duties. And so that is what this one here does. You see, he keeps watch over this mausoleum. He has been here even when the Merkelites were still around, and he had watched it for them. And he serves Kalimvor now, continuing, wishing to continue to guard this from intruders that do not belong here. He turns to the watch ghost and he goes, Olameni. And he like takes out the from takes out a holy symbol of Kalembor and he shows it forth and he turns to Roskar and he goes, he too is free to pass. Then Mithnor turns to Roth and says, From now on, as you come to this, which you will often do, but when I show you what is below, you'll see why. But present your holy symbol to the watch ghost.
Roth will take his holy symbol and present it the same way that he did, and he'll say the words that he said. Oh, Olembi. Actually, you'll just follow what he said. Do you won't do anything extra. I don't know why he said that. To be honest, I don't want to curse myself or some shit.
So the watch ghost like it's floating there. Its eyes just you can't. It's like it's expressionless,
Mm.
and then it slowly descends back down as it nods,
Hmm.
and it makes this gesture as
Okay.
it goes down. Mifnor pushes open the doors, and you go inside, and it looks like to the sides of the insides of the mausoleum that there are two an alcove on each side with two two tiers, ground floor and one above it, as if there would be um bodies laid to rest in there. Mifnor, he turns to the one to the right,
Mm-hmm.
and he lifts open the lid. And as he lifts open the lid, you hear like a mechanism. Um, you hear a mechanism activate as he like puts his hand in and like it seemingly like fiddles with something and puts it back down. And then you notice on the floor, you notice like stairwell start to open up,
Mm-hmm.
leading down towards a doorway.
Mm-hmm.
Leads you downstairs, and it goes down pretty, it goes down about like 20 feet before it gets to the door. And he says, um, he goes down there. He's like, by the grace of the judge. And he turns to Rolf. He's like, that's the password. And you
Mm.
see like this magical uh barrier that was on the door, like lift off. Like you see magic just like come off the
Mm-hmm.
door, marking it as safe to open it. And he opens it. You go inside, and you see a large chamber, and in this chamber is like all sorts of like tools. There's an alchemy lab. There's
Mm.
books. There's like a whole row with just all these books lined up, all books involving everything about like undead and the afterlives of not just like Faerun, but of like various other fucking cultures and lands beyond, and even worlds
Oh
beyond.
damn.
Um, you see, you see,
You know what
um,
this makes me think of, bro? This makes me think of that like that Belmont fucking secret like fucking
oh
layer, bro.
yeah,
That's
you're right.
exactly that. I was like, yo, that actually is so dope. He's telling vampires undead. They're like, yo, this is where all our treasure hoard fucking shit is. They go into this like I forget what it was, like a cave or some shit. Then it fucking opens up and it's like a giant like
Oh
mansion worth
shit.
of like fucking
Yeah.
weapons and lore and
Oh yeah, I say it's similar to
there's
that. He's like you can also see like in the corner part of the chamber an area to like you see an area that's like fitted with like a place to pray
okay.
as well as to also like a small altar as well,
Mhm.
not just to pray, but also it's big enough to like in case you needed to use like certain magic there, maybe a summoning circle or whatever. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, it's like a little
Do I
he
have a
turns
bat cave now?
he turns to Roth and he's
Did I
like
legitimately get a bat
he's
cave?
got a back. He turns to Rothgar and he's like, I maintain this. You may freely use the. He goes, I maintain this, and with donations to the church, I can provide you with equipment that you need for your tasks.
Roth's eyes is wide open, son. He's like, he's looking around and he's just like, who would I, what insert appropriate god, like, exclamation there. Like, he'd be like, by Thor's beard or something, right? Like, by something like, by Odin's beard or some shit, like, mad, like, shocked. Like, he's really
by
like,
the by the light of the
by the light of the, yeah, something like that, right? By the light of the thunder. It's like, what? All these resources accessible by um accessible to the Calemborites. Hmm. What a what a what a project you've amassed here, Mithnor. The Order of the Silent Shroud. You must have been busy. Your order must have been busy over the years. This this armory of sorts will be invaluable in our line of work.
because now only you are allowed to be here, Roth. Also,
Mm.
take this. And he hands you. He goes over to the shelf and he grabs a book. And he walks over to you and he hands it to you. It's like
Takes the book, like,
in here.
starts flipping through it.
If you are unable to use the alchemical equipment here, bring this to one that you know and trust that is gifted in alchemy. There are formula and methods in here of various alchemical items and positoxins that will help you in your fight against the undead. So
Roth
basically,
smiles.
we got an
Basically, he's
alchemist
saying,
in the
take this to
party,
someone.
in
Yeah.
the party that has craft alchemy, which I
Right.
believe there's two of them. I think Luna and
Basically, it's like a
Lucia.
recipe formula book for them, and they can
Yeah,
basically.
so they could be like, oh, I'll make, oh, we can make this, we can make that,
So is he giving
like
me
the okay,
this to take with me, or is it just
like the ghost bane oil that you got, like they'll
right,
have
right,
a
right?
recipe of that in there. Yeah, he's giving it to you to like to take.
Mm, the whole book. Is it a big book or is it?
Yeah, it's a pretty decent sized book. That thing is pretty thick. He's like,
He'll
he
he'll
tells you,
bind it to the chain that's also holding his sacred text and have it hanging off of his like a chain that's like going around his waist. Well, I don't know how it would probably over his shoulder, and it'll be hanging here by his hip. Um, he goes, I can't wait to see how. I can't wait to. Um, he goes. First of all, he goes. I am very grateful for the privilege. Um, I will. I will continue to serve the great judge by. Um, and I would be sure to use these tools. Um, to the best of my ability. Thank you, Mythnor.
grace of Kalimdor be with you.
and also with you. And he I feel like a Catholic a little bit. And then oh, you do like
Oh,
the teardrop sound? You go
oh,
down
he
to
said
the
the tears.
eyes and
No,
see it. He went stop
I know
tear or
it did look.
something.
It did
What?
look. It did look like
There's
that. You're
so many
right.
there's
Oh,
so many like gestures that I feel like you could do with that. Like it's
yeah.
still cool that you pulled that out of your ass that day, bro. When he was like, they do this. So I was like, oh, that's just I was doing like my variation of like when he goes like this and then he does
Oh
like
shit!
because
Yeah,
like the
that's the
silent shroud because the
silent.
silent shroud. I thought that's what you were going for, but that shit is
Honestly, for the silent
like a
shroud,
shroud and then
that
this.
would be the
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
That's confident. That'll do me for their order for sure. Yeah.
All right, bet. All right, so yeah, Roth now getting a. All right, so basically we will always be able to reference uh this place whenever he's trying to prepare for like an undead hunt or whatever. And then I guess there'll be times when we'll actually have to do some RP here. Okay. And then Mythnor is like our contact guy. There's nobody else in here. Nobody else has access to this spot. And damn, son.
Or maybe Halora needs if she's in the area would access it
Right.
too, but and
And a
any
fucking
other
watch ghost is sitting here.
any other Kalimvarite, but all at the moment, you three are the only ones.
Roth turns to
Nice.
Mythnor and says, "Do so. What is this? Like a temporary base of operations until the
Good.
Kalemvarites erect a proper temple?"
Used to be a storage facility for the Mercolite, as well as a shrine for them to serve their deity. Now it will be used as a sort of shop or an armory against the undead, or a place to do research.
Mm,
Uh,
absolutely astounding. The amount of resources your order has. The order has. Because this is the order now. I I'm quite impressed. I will I will return here um during the next few 10 days. Um I'm certain of it. There is a there is a matter that that I'm investigating now. My companions might just benefit from such resources.
good to hear. Um,
Mokja, he has Mokja like um he actually doesn't do it without his permission, but he says Mythnol, more often than not, I know I can find you in the gravesite. But is it would it be do you mind if I could have Mokja take your scent so that Mokja could also find you when necessary?
no, it's an agreement.
And then yeah, I don't know if he already did that with Halora, but that's something they definitely want to do with Halora before she leaves.
Oh well, no, he's had her sent for
A
years.
long time now, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, I didn't know exactly how,
right.
but yeah. So yeah, he would take their scent, and then he would go about um returning to this place in the next couple of days. Really taking a good look over as to what's there and whatnot. Maybe even today if there's time. I mean, I don't necessarily know exactly what day we did this, but if it's right after that whole Baragon thing, I assume it's still midday. He
Actually,
probably
evening.
come over
It's like
here. He
night.
probably come over
It's
there
like
in the middle
night.
of the night, to be honest,
Yeah.
as he's
Yeah.
like, after doing grave duties and whatnot,
Yeah.
graveyard
It'd be
duties.
in the night.
And
But
yeah,
yeah. It's basically basically a
that's
place
pretty
for him
sick. That's
to
pretty sick.
be able to get some
Shop
equip some
unlocked.
yeah to some equipment that he normally wouldn't really find, just lying around in Daggerford. Where there's really no shop for it, actual,
Mm-mm.
in Daggerford. But like what he does is he'll procure like he'll either have it crafted or procure it, or he'll have it like and if it's not there, he'll try to get a hold of it.
Mm.
Um,
Okay,
but yeah,
that's sick. Okay,
we go
Roth
to
now has
Luna.
some new tools at his disposal. Luna, welcome. Enter the White Witch.
Luna gets well, Luna's been busy with she's busy storing spells, and he gets a there's a the town has a messenger service, and so she has a message sent to her. Um,
Oh, she doesn't
and
normally get messages.
yep, a small scroll with with a seal, the wax seal of a what appears, but the wax seal, it has an arcane mark on it,
Mm,
and you recognize the arcane mark as belonging to Delphin. Delphin on the ball.
okay, okay.
Delphin wishes for your presence at his tower with news of what he's learned concerning the two items that your party has handed over to the Mystic Fire Knights, who had themselves handed it over to Delphin
Oh yeah,
to
okay.
study.
Well, she heads over.
You head over, and he greets you. The door, actually, just as you go up to the door just opens on its own.
Like slowly walks in, examines the
You
surroundings.
walk in, and you see a um, small foyer area with like a doorway about 10 feet ahead. But in this small foyer, you can see um, like on the walls, you see like two paintings. One painting of uh, the goddess Mistra, barely visible behind like the silvery mist, and you can see like painting of what appears to be like these stars that are within the mist, like surrounded and and it formed in a circle, and like this glowing, you know, mist at the bottom. And the painting seems to like kind of shift and weave in these colors,
Mm-hmm.
almost as if it was a moving image. Um, and to the right, you can see um, paintings of various prominent figures of wizardry, both present and past. And then there's a carpet in front, that leads up to the next doorway, and then that doorway opens on its own.
She steps in. Xanthus is right next to her side.
Step in, and you look out, and you can see a living area that's got you see shelves of books, and you see a broom like moving by itself, just cleaning up. and um see like a small dining table, and you smell the tea brewing, and walking walking through the room carrying a tray with a teapot is Delphin, and he sets it upon the table, and he looks over and he's like, "Welcome, welcome. Have a seat, child."
He goes, wow, this is a pretty nice place. There's a lot of books here. I sure have. They probably have amazing, amazing stories.
Oh, yes, they sure do indeed. You have time. You can look them over. I'll gladly have you borrow some that you were interested in. Tea?
As he
It's help.
says to like dives into the books, like her eyes light up, and like Xanthus kind of like pokes her with one of his claws to like calm her down. And she goes, I, I like some tea, thank you.
Ah, it's it's a special mix of helm thorn berry tea that the halflings of Succumbler have uh have made from their farm fields. When the merchants usually bring it from Succumba quite often, since it's since a town that's pretty relatively nearby. Have you been to Succumba?
Um, do I know about it? Could I?
If you have, do you have knowledge local sword? Do you have a knowledge
No,
local?
I do not.
Okay. You can still roll. We'll see if you get a DC. We'll see if you beat a DC 10. Mm, which you do. Okay. Um, the Comber, is actually located. There it is. So you guys are here in Daggerford. She's heard of Succumber. It's just to the west, down the river Delimber. Um, more, getting much more, near the high moor, between like the area where the high moor and the high forest is located. It's it's a small peaceful town. Um, that's considered sort of like a border between the Western Heartlands and the North. What would be considered the North and what would be considered the Western Heartlands. It's kind of like in between those two regions. Um, so yeah, she's heard of the place. She's never been there, but she knows that
So
she knows like it's just a few days down the river, pretty much.
she goes, well, I can't say I've ever been there, but I've read up on the place. I don't know much, but I know it's not too far from here.
Yeah, huh? Oh, yeah. Let's see it sometime. Right in a small town, not much bigger than here. So yeah, he pours the tea and he goes, and then he sits down, and like you see this box. It's like this silvery box with like a with like a green gem on top of it, and he like reaches out a hand and he like, it's like well, she can easily tell it's a mage hand spell, and he calls it over from nearby and has it float onto the table before them. He touches the gem and he closes his eyes, and then you see like magic flow over the box, but and then he opens it, and inside you can see. He goes, "I'm sure he goes, "I'm sure you remember these." and inside you can see the you can see that long handle. You can see a long handle attached to an adamantine loop,
Hmm.
and he takes it out, and he goes, this object wasn't too hard to learn of its properties.
What did
He's like, I recognized this almost immediately, but I had to check and make sure. There are these strange, I dare say, artifacts that are like holes within reality. They eat at anything that encounters that crosses their path. Very, very dangerous artifacts known as fears of annihilation. Indeed, the name it fits them perfectly. This, and he puts it and hands it to you.
oh
This is a tool that one could use. Control the sphere of annihilation. I entrust you with this, Luna.
she's like taken aback. She goes, "What? Why me?"
Oh, I've heard some good things about you, and I see a lot of talent and potential within you, and I can see that you'll definitely be going places.
Mhm. I uh wow. Oh goodness. Thank you. Um, I'm. I can't say I have. I'm at a loss for words. Really, I don't. Not really many people acknowledge my. I guess my magic or my skills. So this is pretty forthcoming. And she like looks at the sphere and she goes, "And this, I. That's a. That's. I am. Thank you."
Oh, you're quite welcome. Do be sure to guard this talisman. You don't want it to fall in the wrong hands. But during your journey and your path, should you ever come upon such a magical device, you'd be able to use this tool to at least attempt some control over it. You never know when you might need it.
I will. I will take very good care of it, and I hope my. I you won't regret it. I promise, you won't. You won't regret it.
He goes, um, then he goes, as for the diadem, still looking into that one. That one seems to elude my. I may have to find other means to discover if there's anything more to it than simply enhancing one's intellect. I find it odd that the Jin would bury this with one of their top generals. I feel like there's something more to it. So, still looking into that. Speaking of magic, you and Adler have yet to go to the guild. You're officially members now.
Really? I can't wait to tell. Yeah, well, things have been a little hectic lately. We just got into town and I can't wait to tell him. I'm sure he will be ecstatic. This is a lot of great news today. I don't know how to What do I? Hmm, how do I get there? What are things that I should look forward to, and what should I watch out to? Because I really don't want to make a fool of myself.
Oh, you'll be quite fine there, Luna. Trust me. You and Adler both.
She kind of like she takes a second and like she looks at Xantis and kind of like looks at her hands and she goes, "My magic's kind of different." Um,
It is still a gift of the weave, Luna. You still rely on it, and your spellcraft ability is still a universal part of it all. Whether you acquired it through studies from a book like I have, or with a pact of an otherworldly being, or if it runs through your blood, however it is attained, it is still magic. It still permeates through you as it does for the rest of us. Do not feel ashamed. Who knows? You may meet another witch there. I've heard some come through the guild from time to time.
that would be one of the greatest things, honestly, to not feel like I'm the only one. And I can see, well, I feel that because of my background and where my magic comes from, I'm looked at differently. It's like you have this gift and you want to share it with people, but either they're afraid of it or they outright are grotesque about it. But they don't know what it is or what it can do because where it comes from is it's usually from a bad place. But you tell them that, no, you try to tell them that you're different. This isn't something that you have to worry about. I promise. You've worked so hard to prove yourself, but it's like no one's listening. And you kind of ask yourself, what's the point, really? But then you have your friends and you have your new comrades, and but then when you go home at the end of the day, it kind of feels the same. And she kind of like realizes she's rambling. She goes, "Oh my god, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I don't want to dump this all on you. I
He chuckles. No, no, it is no problem at all. It's quite insightful, in fact. Worry not, Luna, for those are the actions of the ignorant. A true practitioner of the art will not discriminate.
kind of like smiles,
I would
like
get to Adler now and make your way towards there. Heard there's quite a number of things happening there now that some more merchant vendors have rolled in with their wares. May be able to find something interesting there.
and she kind of like beams down at Xantis and like she speaks in like undercommon, and she goes, "Well, it's time to go. Let's go get Adelar. Going to school." And he responds to her. He goes, just take it easy. And she kind of like gets up, like, and she kind of like awkwardly extends her hand to him because she doesn't know how to like say goodbye.
He he takes your hand in his and clasps over it, and he gives you a nod. He's like, well met, Luna. And listen, you are always welcome here to talk. I will be here to listen and advise. And if you
I
have questions about spellcraft, I am here to teach.
feel like I might have to take you up on that offer sooner rather than later. 'Cause I don't know where to go right now or who to talk to.
With that, Adler got Luna coming up, coming inside to the oh, what are you guys calling it? The Night Watch Tower?
And I
The Watchtower.
The
so,
Watchtower?
Mm-hmm.
so Luna goes to the door and she's
Y'all,
like, "Ah!"
some DC shit right here.
Come quick, I have news.
And so Eller goes outside, pale lady behind him. What news?
She goes, get your stuff and your knowledge. We've been accepted to the guild and we've been requested to go now.
Um, that's exciting. Who are we meeting?
I don't know. That's the fun part.
Well, do you know where it is?
I know where it is.
All right. Well, let's go.
She kind of like glances up at Pale Lady and she goes, well, it's a magic guild. They've probably seen worse. No offense.
Yeah, like you're familiar, Xantis. That's definitely way worse.
All right, we're gone. We're gone.
The two of
She,
you,
That whole conversation was an undercommon, by the way.
yeah.
Whenever he talks to you, it's always an undercommon.
Oh, okay, cool.
and so your characters make their way towards the Sorcerers Encapsulate, the local spellcasters guild, where mages, wizards, as well as priests, clerics, and other practitioners of the art have been allowed entry into the guild. An entry that has been paid for and sponsored for the two of you by Delphin himself.
Oh, we were sponsored.
Although you do remember one thing Delphin said as you before you were leaving the door, he goes, don't forget your dues.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, he paid for the two of you to join, and um, but yeah, there's a
Is he
10 gold
is he is
pieces.
he saying that to us now? Is he
No,
like at the
he said
front
that
door?
to Luna as she was
Oh,
rushing
before
up.
she left.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
she recalls, don't forget your
Yeah,
dues. So 10 gold pieces a month.
that's a lot of gold.
But um,
We were sponsored.
you have access to the laboratories and library, as well as a 10% discount on expendable items and spell components, and you can purchase magic items there as if the town were one size larger.
They might have the scrolls I'm looking for.
You can rent magic items there with 80% return on the rental.
And
Hmm.
And if you use the libraries there, you can research with knowledge check with an additional +2 bonus on Arcana, Planes, and Religion. But as you characters go there, there is a limit on the amount of spell trading because they want to make sure that those of You want to make sure that those of equal level trade with those of only equal level. It keeps the lesser spellcasters from blowing themselves and the guild house apart.
Okay. Internally,
Who tells us this information? I know you're narrating it, but who actually tells us that?
Oh, you'll find out. Yeah, I'm stating all this, but this is all stuff that you'll find out while you're there. Um,
Okay.
the guild hall, as the two of you go towards the caravan quarter, and it is actually located near the caravan gate. The building's about 3 stories tall. Its main hall entrance located up the stairs that leads up to the second floor. As the main hall is decorated with a huge, majestic circle of magic that glimmers and radiates arcane energy. There's a
Detect
library,
magic. I want to know what type of magic it is.
strong transmutation.
Strong transmutation.
Yeah.
So Adler looks over the Luna and he says an undercommon. Why have strong transmutation magic for something that should just be for decoration?
hmm, maybe maybe it's protecting something.
Isn't that abjuration? Transmutation changes things.
Hmm.
You see, you see that there's a library on the first floor of the guild hall, and it is accessible via a stairwell from the main hall. The third floor is actually magically sealed from anyone who's not a member.
I thought we were members.
It says you go up there, you are greeted by an old Eluskin human whose hair is got this owl-like look to his facial features. These thick spectacles, about 5.5 feet tall, and he's wearing this uh adorned in these his wizard robes with spell components all over on him. He's wielding a staff that's gnarled. It looks to be like gnarled werewood, and he walks forward towards the two of you, and he gives you both a look, and he's like, um, damn, I gotta mute him because I can't
Yeah, I was
hear
about to
him.
say I tried to mute him on my end. I
Yeah,
couldn't.
I just did. Um, he
No, I still
goes,
hear him.
oh, you gotta do it on Discord.
Oh my
Yeah,
bad.
I had to
That's
mute him on
nice.
Discord.
Yeah. Um, so he squints at the two of you, and he's like, you two must be the new members. Delphin told me about you two, Luna and Adler.
Luna
Hmm.
speaks in Aluskan, and she nods, um, trying to maintain her composure. Yes, I'm Luna. This is Xantis, Adelar, and we are glad to be here.
Pale Lady goes, "Don't be rude."
Oh, she's there
And
too.
in the yeah, she's there
Hmm.
too.
And then Adler leans forward and he takes a big sniff of the guy. He goes, and he says in Aluskan, "Why do you look like a night fowl?"
Oh God.
I'm not sure what you mean, Sir Adler. And he looks towards the pale lady, and he looks at her confused. And he's like, Be sure your summons does not disturb the other guild members. I'm Aranda Owlborn.
Owlborn.
I am the guild master here. You may step forward. I will show you around.
What a literal last name.
Can't help but laugh.
You see his big eyes blinking in his thick spectacles. Like an owl. And he's like, I do not find it humorous. Let us go. So like the as you walk towards the door that's sealed, you can see the seal glowing brightly on it and then disappearing as the doors open up. And inside is all sorts of noise from either people practicing spell casting or various languages being spoken or
You know, like
um
12
or
languages.
magic being casted uh that's making noises um or uh or the sounds of familiars either croaking or buzzing or honking. um it opens out into a foyer and you can see you can see um this large meeting area. Looks pretty wild in here. I mean, you got a colorful bunch that's in here. And Arondar like basically leads your group, leads the two of you around and like explains to you what each of the rooms has. Like there's a, he tells you where the library is at. So shows you a room where you know, if it's not being occupied, you can and you've signed up, because they would like people would like to, need to have their turn come up. But it's a chamber where one could craft magic items. Um, there's an alchemical lab here for those working alchemy.
Mm.
He introduces you to a librarian and fellow sage here. You see a half moon elf. He's like, this here is Kalani. She will help you find the book that you're looking for. And you see her and she looks over to your characters with these uh bright purple eyes and her long black hair um that she has in like it starts off black but then like the tips of it are like in these various colors and um she looks to the two of you and she gives a wave and then she looks over at the pale lady and she like maintains her smile. She's like, ooh, she like seems fascinated by the pale lady. And I mean, the two of you notice that like unlike the people out in the street, who stay far away from pale lady as best they can, and they're completely unnerved and completely um don't want to have anything to do with her. It feels like the opposite here. Either the people here are in awe, or they're curious, or they glance over and then they don't even pay it mind after that. Like it's just normal to them, like whatever.
Mm.
Um,
Luna says to Adelar in Undercommon, I don't want to call it just yet, but this might be one of the few places we are actually accepted.
Alice stretches and then he folds his fingers in behind his head and he goes, actually, it's places like this that make it worth the whole problems with dealing with Kinku who don't die and people who say they're faceless who really aren't, and three gods being merged into a single being that tries to kill us and drown us in black waters. But places like this are worth killing for.
And
Places like
then
this are worth living for.
suddenly there's a flood of flowers that just fly over your that just like burst out on both of your faces, and then you hear nearby, "Oh, sorry, sorry," and you see you look. It was just so sudden, you see this burst of flowers all over you and all of your characters. I mean, they vanish after they like fly past you. You just get the strong aroma of the of floral scents, and
See, Luna? See? This place is perfect.
you see
Can you
a
do that again?
you see a young Tetherian human caster, and she like you see like magic from her hands like fade away from like the ending of the spell, and you hear Aranda look towards her, and he's like, "This is not the area to practice that. You know better." He's like, "Sorry." And he turns. He's like, "That's Brelon. She enjoys wild magic a bit too much, clearly."
Wild magic.
What's wild magic?
Well, when you have the time, you can ask her. She'd love
Knowledge
to know. She
Arcana.
knows to love everything about it. Yeah, your characters are aware that wild magic it, it was what it was all anyone could cast during the time of troubles, as the weave was not being maintained, and it was very dangerous for people to cast spells because the spells would have random effects, very random. Someone could cast a simple mage hand and end up summoning a fiendish ogre that bashes their head in. Or they would go to cast a fireball, and instead of blasting their enemies with fire, it would be um, a bunch of hopping rabbits. All sorts of stories have been told, and all sorts of strange and sometimes deadly occurrences had happened with wild magic. People accidentally transforming themselves, or other phenomena that still hasn't gone away. But with the weave stable again after the time of troubles, there's still many, many pockets of wild magic. And there are those who are so fascinated by wild magic, they choose to be wild mages.
So there means there are people out there that teach wild magic.
There are some, yeah. Um, you see a female rock gnome with like a sort all with different tools. She with like a utility belt of tools, and um some of them glowing with magic, in fact. She like rushes by Aranda, and he's like, "Ah, that is one of our another sage that comes to this guild, and a magical artisan. She's willing to sell or trade items of magic, especially uh if you give her any sorts of magical craftsman books or items, especially rare ones." He like uh calls out to her, and he goes, "If you're looking for Derval, not Derval. If you're looking for Dervin, you need to go. There's some bad news. I will speak with you later." And the Arachnon stops, and she turns. She's like, "What has befallen, Dervin?" Like, Aranda goes, "I will inform you later." I'm in the middle of a tour. Let's continue.
Luna waves at her as she walks by as we continue walking.
So yeah, now your characters. I mean, your characters know who Dervin is, and yeah, that you know the reason why he's not at the guild. He is too a member, and but and Aranda like he quietly like turns to your character and he's like, I'm aware of the events that have transpired. There are some here who are acquaintances of Dervin, or even friends. They are not aware of what has transpired.
Oh, then we should make them aware.
No, no, it's our first day. It's our first day. I don't think we're in the right place to say anything just yet.
Are you scared, Luna?
Her face flushes. She goes, "No. Why would I be scared? I mean, it's just
He was our artisan and craftsman here, a rune caster. On top of that,
A rune caster? What's that?
you've got so many questions. They will all be answered in time. Let's continue. I am very busy.
Fine.
Um, you ah, shoot, you pass by you know, he's showing you all the rooms. He even shows you this one room. He's like, that there, this here is the training room, and this room is where you can practice your magic, or even have, or he goes, or even have small spell duels.
Can I spell duel you?
He just gives you this look, like really. Moving on,
You're no fun.
and and just as he says that, the room opens up, and you see a Kandathan human, and he's you see he had like this fiery aura around him, and he walks out, and then like he like waves a hand to like make it vanish, and he's like, ah, that was fun. And then you see another wizard come out, and apparently he had just this guy just finished a duel, and um the other guy comes out, and he's like, he just looks frustrated, and Aranda turns to the guy that just had the fiery aura that he goes, Tanison, you made sure that this time you formed a dueling barrier? Tanison's like, yes, Aranda, I made sure this time.
What's a dueling barrier?
The guy, uh, the guy looks, Tennyson looks over towards Adler and he's like, what's a dueling barrier? Oh, you guys are new, very new here. Hmm. He's like, hey, you guys ever want a duel? I'm up for it.
I
And he
want
goes
to
to
duel.
Aranda raises a hand. He's like, not right now, Tennyson. Let me finish the tour. Tenison's like, ah.
Headmaster
And he's
Nightfowl is
like, I've got
always so
these.
much.
It's like I got these new fire spells I want to try out so badly. I want to burn something with them. You know what? I'm gonna go out there and get it done. And he like starts to rush out.
this man is Anakin Skywalker."
And Aranda's like, luckily that man has a good heart. Otherwise, he'd be Otherwise, you'd have an arsonist on your hands. He's a bit too into fire magic.
It's nice.
He's studying to be an elemental savant here. He's getting quite close to it, unfortunately. I don't like flames. They do too much destruction, especially of books. Um, but yeah, he also shows you a room, like a study room where you can go there for like peace and quiet and meditation. And it also doubly serves as a place to have your familiar hang out in. You know, they've got like a variety. They've got like a variety of supplies there to like feed your familiar with, or for your familiar to be, to have some comfort hanging out in while you attend your business.
She she looks down at Xantus. She goes, "It looks like I'm going to be keeping you here for a little bit." While I go, I guess what would Sophia call it? Mingle. And Xantus like kind of like pokes her with his stinger, and he goes, "That's not funny. You go, I go."
And then, yeah, after the tour, Rhonda is just, goes, all right, well, we're happy to have you as members here. Don't forget your dues. Now I must go attend to business.
Go.
Wait a second. You said that you were going to answer questions later. You didn't answer a single one, Mr. Nightfowl. And I have another one to add to that list too. If you're a headmaster here, then how come you don't have a familiar? I figure you would have an owl or something, right?
He stares at Adler like, you fit in quite well here, Sir Adler. Goodbye, and he walks away.
Damn.
He
Great.
lied. Well, I'm gonna make my way back downstairs to that big room with all the books in it because I have a few things I want to go and find out.
You mean? Oh my
All
God.
right.
There's a particular section I'm gonna be looking for.
Are you like the library? Are you heading there too?
Absolutely. Did you see all those books in there?
I know, right?
And the two of you excitedly enjoy your stay at the guild.
Question. I need to
Yeah.
know if this library is unbiased. That's what I want to know.
I don't think it will be. I don't think it will be. It'll be nice and open to everything.
The two of you don't get any vibe like that at all. And it's not just arcane users. Like it's a guild that's open to any magic user.
If I could find information
So
on
there
it.
are clerics here, there are bards here, there's
Now, are we talking clerics of other religions?
usually it would be, yeah, other religions. Usually it would be Mishra, Zuth, or um Savras, or but any cleric really. Doesn't matter who. They welcome all magic users here.
Now that book that Adler found in the Watchtower, their journal from about the Ascended Lovers, he's calling it the Black Journal, and he brought it with him because he wanted to cross-reference the information there with information here about the same subject. So he wants to look up information on the Dream Key and also information on being a cerebrant. 'Cause I rolled the roll last time for trying to use my dream to decipher the ritual in order to try to get the dream key, and I failed it because I rolled a 1. But there's no text there that indicates when I can make another attempt. So I figure you'll just let me know when that's possible. But as for the cerebrant, like the cerebrant, I think it's called a cerebrant blot.
Cerebral blot.
That
Yeah.
yeah, he wants to do research on that.
All right. Yeah. So the two of you
I'll write down what I
guild
want to research.
guild unlock. Shop unlock.
Hmm.
Should also it's also, good place. I know Luna was looking for some scrolls, so she could find some
Yeah.
here as well.
Scrolls. I
Um
want to look up renowned witches, shadowy
we
shard.
go to we go to Lucian and Sophelia. Sophelia comes up to Lucian's like, I'd say this would take place after his militia training, where Sophelia is now aware that Lucian would be free to get some handle animal training from Roth.
All right. So
So
they're
we
gonna meet me at
need
the guild.
we yep. So we need those two here on board. I see them in Discord. We need them on board.
I'm here. You guys don't
John.
hear me?
Oh,
Yeah, I hear
oh
you.
yeah, we hear you.
I hear
Jo-
you.
Oh,
Johnson, you there? Or he put himself on mute. Oh, he just popped back in. Damn,
I fell asleep.
the solo, the DM solo cam day. Come on, stop. Stay still. I hate when I can't. I'm trying to adjust the fucking. It's so fucking annoying. Guess I do this. He
Yep,
unmuted himself. Oh, you there? All right.
whatever.
So you and Ophelia meet Roth at the Animal Handlers Association. I think it's called. Where's my sheet? Yeah,
Weren't
it's
they,
it's
didn't
this
they,
place.
weren't they still, researching stuff? Or no?
So during a time where it was after I'd say this would be like after your militia training
Oh, okay.
was complete, and Sophia had realized you had some more time to
So we're gonna just fast forward that?
I mean,
I think he's going. He,
I'm kind of
Yeah.
jumping around
he's
pretty much
jumping. Yeah,
because
he's jumping
Oh,
character.
forward and back and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah, because
uh,
I mean, everybody's got a lot
oh, is
going
he?
on. A lot
Um,
going on. Um,
Gotcha.
so yeah, so your character's Roth is you're in the middle of training Mothjaw. You see Sophia and Lucian uh
Oh yeah.
show up
Yeah.
at the guilds. Um, and they are greeted by Polita Bloomhearth, the Light Feet halfling, and she is the leader of this affiliation. And she greets the two of you. She's like, "Welcome, welcome." And your characters go there, and there's like all sorts of. I mean, it's mostly the common creatures you see. Is usually people's you see other dog. You see uh different birds. A few cat. Um, but yeah, see cattle, sheep, pig, goat. Um, but you see some other creatures there. You see Rothy. You see you see one. You see yeah, I'm trying to think. Uh,
Hmm.
you see apes. You see lizards. You see a big lizard. You see like a monitor lizard. Um, a giant one. But yeah, there you notice that this place is here to care for and as well as training other people to as well as a place to purchase um, equipment needed for uh, those that have mounts or that have animal companions. Uh, the place where you could tell it's the place where Roth had gotten that special training harness for Mockjaw, and
Mhm.
they even have special orders if you need like barding equipment um, for the like Roth had came here to like request like leather, which he got leather barding for Mockjaw. Um, uh, so yeah, so she greets the two of you. She goes, "I am Polita Boomhearth. Welcome, welcome."
Lita,
What's
I'm
going on?
Sophia.
I'm Lucian.
Philia and Lucian, welcome. What may I do for you?
Well,
Oh, okay.
well, I just love animals, and I want animals to love me back.
A good start. That's indeed a good start.
You have any bunnies here by any chance? They're so
Well,
adorable
yeah,
with those
we
ears.
we have some hares and rabbits in here as well. And she's like, "Come, uh, let's go. Let's head over to the yard." And she leads the two of you through the building and outside into like this large open area within the building. Um, and you can make out a few other like you can um make out an area with like cages and one with like a couple of big cages, but those seem to be empty right now. But you also see other outbuildings where they would either have specific features that and be to store separately from everything else. Um, but you're in this big open courtyard where you can see um, in this venue you can see various equipment, tools, training like what's the like training dummies. Um, and you see a few others. Um some are having like their dogs trained for shepherding, and you see one that has an interesting creature, a cat with wings, known as a tressum, and they're out there this training with one of these,
When
and
when she sees that, her eyes start like turns a little starry. Like, wow, those are amazing. What are they called? You know, she looks at Lucian and Roth and Polita. What is that?
now speaking of Roth,
Roth's not there yet.
you see him there with Mokdra. Those two being the loudest here, 'cause they're training with the
Mm-hmm.
dummies and other stuff. And
Yep.
Polita goes up to Roth, and she's like, "I just can't seem to be. I always find myself so impressed with you, Roth, with your with your skill at handling beef."
Uh, I would say I owe it all to Lockjaw. She's a bright, very precocious type of beast. I would highly recommend if you want to make the most of your relationships with the creatures of Faerun. Get them when they're young, like that you might with like a child. Um, Mokja, however, a little bit more special, I would say. Almost divine.
Yes, she goes, "I can see that indeed." Speaking of young, we just got a young, and she like points over across the yard area, and then she stops mid-sentence, and she's like, "Uh-oh." And you see you see where she's looking at. Characters can see these two guys that are like trying to like rein in what looks to be like a young juvenile hippogriff, but it's like giving them a lot of trouble right now.
Mm.
And um
Roth takes the initiative, walk over there,
huh?
and hit him with that wild empathy. Let me stop. I don't got that skill. I don't have that ability yet.
uh
Or at all, actually. That's a druid shit.
Mm,
she looks over to she like
Ranger
starts
too.
to advance over to like help, but then she stops and she looks over to Ruff. She's like, "That's right. Did mention you'd have some people that you were gonna train. Why don't you show them your stuff?" She looks over to Lucian and Sophia. He's like, "Seen him around Mokdra, but see how he is with everything else if you plan on learning." So she invites you to go handle that young hippogriff, your handle animal skill.
All right. I'm gonna try my best.
Mhm.
Roth goes over and he goes. "Hmm." He walks over kind of confidently, has Muck just stay back, and he actually brings when he starts heading over, he says you see him gesture to you too and tells you both to come follow him, but like not too close. And then he goes
Oh, I was just about to go
raise.
pet. I was just gonna go play with Makcha, but okay. You saw that she was about to like caress like Makcha's like ears, but then she like, oh yes, I'm here to train. And she starts following.
Roth puts a hand up and it's like, whoa, 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 not like that. Basically, trying to tell the other two trainers that they're doing it wrong. And he's like, got to, you've got to communicate. Allow the beast, allow the beast to express itself. Also, allow it also to see that you are not a threat. You are not its enemy. It has to trust you. And as he's doing that, he's like starting to like doing his animal whispering, like, you know, technique. You see him kind of like, uh, kind of gesturing towards the hippogriff, lock eyes with it, and trying to communicate his best like handle animal skills. Um, and eventually he see him inching close with his hand, trying to like first after I guess they probably had like reins. Um, grabs the reins, wraps it around his fist, then he steps closer, and then he raises one of his arms up, trying to get it to to see Roth as like bigger. I don't know exactly how big this thing, but like bigger than he is, so that it should yield. And then brings his hand down um, behind its head and tries to like calm it down, settle it down by like stroking the furs on its face and the feathers. I forget how a hippogriff looks. I think it's like an eagle on its head, but like everything else is like a lion or some shit. I forget how a hippogriff.
Horse.
Have to look it up. Hippogriff. But anyways, I will roll my
It
Hey,
is
my
those
gonna
handle animal
be.
skill. I'm sure this is gonna be a skill check. I'm sure.
This is gonna be. This is a system of skill checks, not a.
DC 30.
This is a
I can
system of.
see Lewis now trying to cheese me. Try to
It's
yoke me,
it's
son.
a system of skill check. Complex
Lucian,
A
skill.
system of skill check.
The
so feel
complex
a
skill check.
solution. Hey, those hippogriffs, could they fly?
I think so.
When they get big enough.
Oh, cool.
Oh, it
He
is
looks at
part
the he looks
horse.
at the wings.
Part horse, part eagle.
Yeah, part
Or
Mm.
horse,
bird.
horse and eagle, like the shit in
And then it has like a
Harry Potter had one. So
Yeah. The,
I'm a fraud. I didn't watch Harry Potter.
mm.
yeah, they have like a really good like accurate fucking uh
Hippogriff.
hippogriff in the movie. Yeah.
Nice.
Alright.
Um, this is a complex skill check. You will need to make a series of handle animal checks as Lucian and in fact a lot of the people pause because a lot of them are pretty amazed at you know Roth's skill with handle animal, which seems to be pretty damn good, and it's only getting better. Um, so
How many times will take
this
10 actually
indeed,
apply? Actually, I
i-
should be able to take
in,
10.
indeed, this will be a
Let's
process
see.
for your character. Um, a complex check. You basically need to beat a number of successes before you completely win over win over this hippogriff and calm it down as it's freaking
Alright.
kicking and trying to bite all over the place and giving so much trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And making sure not to get three failures. If you get three failures before you reach your number of successes that you need, then
Yeah.
it fails. But if you get the right amount of successes before the third failure, then you succeed. Um, what is his bonus? Uh, plus 10. Yeah, plus 10.
Yeah, it's plus 10 right now.
10. All right. You said you're
Oh
taking.
shit, yeah, you're right. I was about to add all the other shit. That's just for Mockjaw.
Yep,
Dang.
that's just from Upshaw.
I'm not as godlike as I thought. No.
All right. You said you're taking 10?
I think I should be able to take 10 for the first one. Yeah, why not?
You take 10 for the first one. It was a success.
Hmm. There you go. How you doing?
It was a
There you go,
success.
girl. Yeah.
Success and shoot, you beat it with the taken 10. You didn't have to roll.
I need another one.
No. Oh, yeah, you made 3. All you need to do is 3. I didn't realize how high your fucking bonus.
I feel like the DCs aren't. It can't get harder the more it's already liking me. So I guess I'll just keep taking 10. I don't know.
Yeah, you basically had to patch 3 DC 20 checks before 3 failures.
Oh, okay, so he takes 10
Yeah.
3 times. He's a master animal handler. Expert. He didn't even have to fucking think about it. He just, yeah, just calm the fuck down, man.
And I mean, yeah, everybody's seen
Expert handling
your
skills.
skill at this, and it's yeah, you gave a pretty interesting demonstration for the two that are trying to learn to
Oh
even
shit, everything
begin
froze.
So
begin
Felix,
doing this.
so Felix cheering for like Rob. What? Oh, yeah, amazing. Like like a cheerleader.
Ross successfully calmed it down, and it's
That is
he
internet.
and he leads it. He's able to lead it over to its cage and put it in there, lock it up. And Polita's like she like she she like points over to him and nods and looks around. She's like, "See, look at that."
It's impressive. That creature looked very, very hostile. I thought it was gonna beak someone with it, attack someone. What do they have? They have beaks, right?
Yeah.
Poke someone like a rooster, like but a giant beak instead of like a small rooster's beak. That would
Right.
hurt big time.
Crazy.
um, but yeah, Polita's like, "Oh, you guys you're gonna be having a pretty good teacher. Well, I'll leave you be."
Nice.
See, so there your characters go, learning that shit. Um,
Roll over, Mokja.
we go to a night where Lucian is gambling at Fair Fortune Hall one evening.
It's fine. Leave it. It's fine. It's
What?
fine, Mom.
Oh,
We go to a night where Lucian's gambling at Fair Fortune Hall,
It's
and
fine.
as you're having a good night there, trying to get some earnings.
Hmm. Hello?
Yeah, hold up. I was wondering if their conversation was gonna end on that. I'll just put them on mute for a bit.
Yeah, I just put on mute. Yeah.
Um, you notice,
None of my
and
business.
I'd say this was a night maybe like like 2 weeks later from the beginning of the downtime. Um,
Okay. 2 weeks? Hmm.
yeah.
Have I
Um,
fed on Pale Lady?
have you what?
Have I fed on Pale Lady?
Uh, I would say yeah. You
All
um
right. We gotta RP
you
that shit. I gotta do all that. Like I need, you gotta do like an hour and a half. I need the hour and a half so we can get Ross, my nigga. No, I'm joking.
uh
You gotta do that.
I'd say after I'd say after the first week, that's when Lucian realizes like that hunger kicked in. So he goes to Adler,
Mm.
lets him know. Um,
Uh, he walks into the room and is Adler here?
Mm-hmm.
He walks up to the Adler and he's like, I'm starting to crave again. And he's like, I'm hungry. I think I need to feed.
Oh, it's that time of the month again for you, huh?
Yeah, it seems to be coming like clockwork. Every 7 days, I seem to have this urge. I can only put it off for so long.
Mm. Tell me something.
Mm.
When the Ebon aspect reached out for you and dragged you into the deepest waters, into
Mm.
the cold black liquid night, what did you see?
Everything, the beginning, the end, my mother, my father, my sister, pain, love, hope. I saw it all.
Mm. It sounds exhilarating, explorative.
It, it touched me in a way I can't begin to describe.
You feel the pale lady come up behind you,
Mm.
and a, a tentacle of hers reaches around and it pauses in front of your face.
Lucian
Reach
looks over
around.
at looks over at the tentacle and he's like, oh, he looks over at Pale Lady and he's like, I do not plan on making a habit out of this. He
Drink.
says, but I appreciate it. And he takes the tentacle of the tail lady and he takes his first drink. He sinks into it. And do I have to roll something with that?
That's an interesting first drink. No, Matt can enjoy
Yeah.
describing what an
There you go.
outsider aberration fucking blood tastes like. Um,
So yeah,
And
when you bite into the pale lady, the blood
the
isn't typically like red like a normal mammalian creatures would be. So when
mm,
you bite into it, the blood is actually because it doesn't really isn't full of like oxygen in a way that like a typical blood vessel would be. It's more like translucent and clear, almost like a and it's thicker too. It's kind of like a gelatin kind of like water.
mm. Lucian's like he's like shocked at first, but he starts to drink and it almost tastes sweet to him. And he feels like he starts to feel the heartbeat on like, does she have a heartbeat? No, right? I guess
Uh, she
to
has
pump blood,
organs. She has
she'd have
organs, but they
organs.
don't stay in the same place.
So I
Because
guess what Lucian hears is like he hears like 16 different heartbeats at once. And it's almost making no sense to him at all. It's like a drum in triplets, like,
My dude's hearing the drums of liberation.
and it's he hears just multiple hearts at once as he's drinking from the tentacle, and he's so confused, but it's like it's almost intoxicating at the same time, and he rips away, he pulls away from it after he gets his first his constitution point. He rips away, and he's like he almost can't stop himself for a second. And he takes a deep breath, and he's like he keeps his eyes closed, and he like inhales it almost like a you know
Mhm.
like a smoke, and he takes a deep breath and opens his eyes again, and they're shining a little bit more gold than they normally do. It's like after he just fed. He looks at Adelar and he says, didn't you have some shit we needed to handle?
I did
And he
this.
said, he goes, Cullen's men, right? Or
Oh,
no, who owed us the finger?
uh, Cullen and all of his men. But I thought
Mm,
that I thought we all agreed that we were going to all fight them as a group, or so I thought.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
in fact, I do remember
Well,
when last we spoke right out on Sophilia's birthday.
we
That
did say
was
that.
that's what we had
We,
agreed upon.
we did agree upon some things. And you see, like Lucian, he takes out the faceless one's mask, and he takes out like this. He takes out the barrel of his gun. I mean, he takes out his pistol, and he's like, "We did say we were gonna wait, didn't we?" He says, "How do you feel about going out to gamble with me?"
Hmm. Taking chances? That
Hmm.
does sound like fun. There's a
It
particular
does.
chance I'd like to take.
It's a particular chance I'd like to take too. And Lucian heats up the barrel of the gun in the fire pit, like the little fireplace, and he puts the barrel of the gun like right at the center, like right on the forehead of the faceless one's old mask, and he starts to draw a spiral out of the mask, out of the bullets. He like places, he burns the bullseye, right? And then starts to draw a little spiral
Hmm.
out of the mask, covering the whole mask. It looks like you know, Orochimaru's mask essentially.
Mm.
Orochimaru's white mask, the one with the spiral in it. I'll put it in the chat. And he looks at Adeline. He's like, man. He's like, I feel like getting into some trouble tonight.
I'm glad you said that because there's a particular thing that I guess the others would call troublesome. And as he says that, he takes out the ritualistic the ritual knife that he has, and he holds his dreads up like um like above his head, and he starts to cut off the dreads that are like on the side of his head and starts to cut around. And
Mm,
then as he gets to the back of his head where he can't see, um you see his eyes normally are like faceted like a like a dragonflies, but you see
mm,
instead of it being faceted, it it turns like pale like a pale fleshy white. It looks
mm,
like it basically looks like the pale lady's skin covered both of his like eyes. And that's how you could tell instead of looking at his from his point of view, he's looking from pale lady's point of view.
mm.
So that he can see the back of his head as he like shaves the
That's
dreads
great.
off.
Lucia laughs. And he's like, "Are you seeing through her eyes right now?"
Yes, indeed. Perceptive.
He goes, he's like, "Huh." He's like, "That would be a crazy trick to show me." And
That's a good spell to research actually. She sees
hmm,
in three different spectrums actually. She sees normally and then there's dark vision, there's low light vision.
hmm, I see in dark vision myself. I haven't really told anybody, but well, they already know that. Everybody knows that already. I see it dark.
As he
Yeah.
as he finished shaving the sides of his head and he gets the back, you see him tie both of his dreads into uh two ponytails that kind of
Mm,
like flop down the side. They look like bunny ears.
right.
He does it with basically by just tying one dreadlock around a bunch of his hair after he parts it in two. And he goes, and then he shakes his head. He goes, "There we go. I was starting to get hot back there." But yeah, so what I have in mind, and he says as he says that he reaches into his bag and he takes out this black book, and he goes,
Mm,
"This is the Black Journal, and In it, well, it's a story that depicts two lovers. And like any good love story, the love goes sour. But not because the two lovers were particularly mismatched. It was because one of the lovers, just like you and just like me, wanted to see something amazing, wanted to take a chance, wanted to have some fun. And that fun, that chance that lover took, wound up taking that lover to a place that she couldn't come back from. And the love she left behind mourned her leaving, couldn't find a way to get past her heartbreak.
Mm.
But I think that we can make a happy ending from this story. In fact, to be honest, a few of the people in this very town of Daggerford itself has taken upon themselves to take this little story and make an entire religion out of it. Have you heard of, well, surely you must have, the Ascended Lovers?
Um,
There
and
it goes
Lucius shakes his head and he's like,
again.
"All right, not that I can, other than what you know we've heard. No, no, I really haven't."
Hmm. Well, I'll be able to tell you all about it on our way to Waterdeep.
But
And
I
we're
look
going to have
forward
to
to it.
find Roth too, because he's really good at finding things.
Mm, I'm good at fighting things too. And you want to take him to this tavern, Lou? Oh, it's already 1 in the morning. But
Yeah. That's why I
that's
didn't
about
want to
it.
drag that out for too long.
Yeah,
Well,
that's it.
I guess yeah. I mean, we could say, he takes him there, and he, Adler, is exposed to like the nightlife that Lucian's been, you know,
Mm.
um,
Start
work
starting to
working
lead as the
working
Suicide King.
working within and enjoying. Um,
On the way there, Adler basically tells you about the story about the Ascended Lovers and how one of them
Right.
was looking up into the sky, basically looking
Yeah.
into a portal of into the far realms, went crazy, and he tells you the
Mhm.
full story.
Right. Right.
and but yeah, I mean, you characters enjoy a night at you said game, so you took him to Fair Fortune Hall then. So and Timora's the Shrine of Timora. Um,
And Adler's definitely gonna get drunk. He gonna get fucked up.
the two of you enjoy your night, make some earnings, some solution skill. Um,
I need to be rolling or anything. Am I good?
oh, don't worry, I'll have you roll. For people making profession checks during these 10 weeks, I'll let everybody know how many
Okay.
rolls
Uh,
they make. But this one particular night, and this is a night where you're just there.
I got you.
Um, you're at Fair Fortune Hall, and Cullen and his gang show up, um, looking very delighted to be there, and
Mm.
you can hear them bragging about finally having made so much money that they can actually go gambling and have a good night.
Wait a second. Is that
Uh,
is this happening the night that I'm there with Lucian
No,
or?
this is a different
Oh,
night.
oh,
oh,
This
I was about to
this is a
say,
different night
boy.
later on, like later in the downtime.
Yeah, I was about
Lu
to be like Lou,
it's
roll
just
initiative.
it's just
uh,
Lucian. Although there's definitely was enough time that went by. Lucian, you wanna roll a local check for me?
yes,
I know you have that trained.
yes, I do.
That was about to be all bad, son. All bad. Ophelia was not going to get her chance to do her thing at all. I'm
So
drunk too. Oh man, that'd have been a wrap, bro.
This guy's like,
uh,
I cannot be held
oof,
responsible for any of my
oof.
actions.
For real, bro.
10.
10. Um,
Yeah.
so what you've learned, you already knew that they were doing work outside of
Hmm.
town. You learned that the work, that there's a particular person that they were doing work for, who lives down at the riverside. His name was Olin. You can roll
You
another
said Olin?
knowledge. Yeah, you can roll another
Another knowledge.
knowledge of on him. Yeah. Oh shit.
Nice.
There we go.
All
I'm
right,
getting that
Lucian.
everything.
You know that Olin said to be part of an adventuring band, and after some time, he had decided to retire and live in the Riverman's quarter of town. That Olin once traveled with this adventuring company that's known as the Welcome Danger, and hasn't really been seen working or contributing much to society in town ever since he's purchased his home here.
Hmm.
But he does rent out the second story to his building. And then, well, although currently no one resides in it, and he's not known to do well at maintaining the place. Uh, it's said that the adventuring band had made a big haul on his last adventure, and it was the reason why he chose to settle down. After taking
Mm.
his portion of the treasure, he's been in town for about 7 years. Olin's Olin's been seeking ways to make more money lately. It's suspected he may have some sort of debt to pay off, considering his persistence in trying to get this
Mm.
money. They do say that he's been seen around members of the Old Order monk, and that he's humbly working for them to make back money he's lost over his time in Daggerford. Um, you know that he hangs out. You also know and learn that he's hung around the riverside, uh, speaking with individuals that are seemingly of criminal element or are known criminals. It's suspected he either owes these sorts of people something, or that he's possibly working for them. Authorities are keeping an eye out, but they haven't been keeping an eye out really entirely. They have simply been keeping their ear to the ground, and Olin's just been more and more cautious lately. He's barely interacting with anyone in town that he doesn't personally know or trust or have trusted for a long time. Some
Hmm.
some people have been saying that he seems to have something that can help people in need, but whenever he's confronted about
How does
it,
that mean?
he denies any such claim.
Oh, he's into some shit.
Mm.
And yeah, he's apparently he's got Cullen and his gang on his payroll for something.
Mm.
But that's who Cullen and the gang was been working for, and they were out of town for quite a while before, and obviously they came back that night, and with that money that they got, they're over here spending it.
They're spending
Um,
it lovely high.
they're spending it here at Fair Fortune Hall. They kind of like they notice you, but they don't really like because they haven't really like you
Do
haven't really messed
do
with
they
them, and
know?
they have, and
Do they
you
know who
haven't
I
really.
am?
Yeah, they know who you. Actually, I'm trying to think now. Yeah,
They.
you guys kind of came in together and you left together, so like they so and they noticed you that first time that you guys all met them. So like one of them does recognize Merovin, the Merovin, he the Rasputin guy. He
Okay.
he like he locks this glare onto you as if
Hmm.
he completely recognizes you. Turns and like you could tell like he's obviously telling like the rest of telling them the rest
Mm.
like look who's over there, kind of that like that. And they
Yeah.
look over, they look at you, and
Lucian.
they like kind of like shrug their head and they just go back to what they were doing. And you could see Cullen speaking to Mervyn, and you can kind of hear you can hear him because he's
And
loud
the
enough.
spy.
He's loud enough.
Is it?
You can hear him say to Mervyn, don't worry, who cares? Like, let's just have fun tonight.
Mm.
Like, pretty much it's like he's didn't start beef with us,
Uh,
and or
all right.
lately we're not gonna bother beefing with him. We're
So
here to have a good time. But Mervyn's like looking like
um,
he doesn't seem
Lucian
to
Lucian
like
looks
you.
Lucian looks over at Mervyn and he's like he smiles at Mervyn and waves as he's staring at him. He's like he waves over at him and he sends him a drink to Mervyn.
Mervyn
And
sniffs and he snubs
he's
him.
like he goes Lucian stands up. He starts laughing. He starts walking around in circles, kind of like just joking, laughing, talking with the people around them. And he walks on over. He walks past Cullen, and he kind of I'm gonna use a bluff. I'm a fake stumble and spill my beer on
All right.
him.
All right, so you
uh,
kind of stumble and you spill your beer on him, and I guess you roll the bluff check to make it pass off as if like you didn't really mean it.
am I rolling the ridiculous bluff or am I rolling level four bluff?
The level 4 bluff with the +2. With the +2.
Uh,
So that's be
uh,
+10. That'd be +10, yeah.
plus 10.
Who'd you knock into? Was it Cullen or
I
was
just Cullen. I guess
just
the
Cullen?
table. Yeah, the table. I bumped the
It's
table to spill a
Cullen,
drink over.
Todrick, Mervyn, and fuck is the other guy? Oh, Rastafan. That's what it is. Yeah, and Rastafan. All four. Yeah, Rastafan. All four of them are there. Cullen's like, Cullen looks down. He's like, "Arr!"
Uh,
And he
he
like, you
goes.
see him get angry, but then you like talk. You're
Lucius,
acting all
Lucius like
drunk, and
Lucius
you're.
like Lucius like, calm down, my bad, I'm sorry. And he starts patting Cullen's face, and he's like, my bad, I'm so sorry. The great and wise Cullen, the mighty Cullen. And he was patting his face, and he's being mad, ridiculous. Like he's, you can tell he's being kind of an asshole with it. And he's like, he stops and he's
Cullen's
smiling, and
like,
he's like,
listen,
don't
I'm in a
stop,
good mood right now, so you better get out of my face, or it's gonna turn into
get
a
out of
sour
here.
one.
Sour one. That sounds so scary. Ooh. And Lucian grabs his cape and shakes.
Shit.
And he goes, tell me. He says, how many of you did it take to jump my best friend?
Really? We're gonna go on about that? I don't got
I'm
time for
just one.
this.
I'm
I
just
don't have
wondering
time for
because
this.
it took so many of you. It just, I'm amazed. I feel like if it was like a fair one, I feel like he would have got you. I feel like I feel like you're a sucker. I can't
Hey,
explain it.
hey.
It's weak to me for such a legendary mercenary group. It's pathetic. Lucian takes a sip of his drink and he's like, you know what? But I'm just drinking.
People are watching
It
you.
could just be,
Looking.
it could just be, it could just be this mean. I don't know. And he slaps Cullen on the back of his shoulders like extra hard. He's like, man, but what a sight. What a sight it would have been to see if it was a fair one, because I feel like we could fuck y'all up. And Lucia starts to walk away as he says that.
Oh my god, this shit is funny, man.
Roll a
I'm staying up literally to see how far this goes.
roll a
Come get the
roll
squad.
roll a
Man, I know we can fuck you up. That's crazy.
roll a perception check.
Come
What
get
is
Mm.
wrong
the
with you?
wizard,
So
man.
toxic.
Is that what am I still 4th level? Bro, come get the squad, dude.
Perception. You know somebody's already casting, son.
Someone's
Oh
casting.
shit. Sorry.
That was funny though. That was hilarious.
During that
Mm.
conversation, you easily notice with
Eagle
your
eye.
great senses,
This
enhanced
dude,
senses of it.
this
You
dude's
notice
drunk and
that
still aware of everything.
during that whole time talk and everything, you notice Merovin, um, had flipped something in another patron's drink,
Mm.
The hell?
and you notice
You out
that
Who's
here looking people?
you notice that the person's drink that he slipped it into is roll a local check. Just local. Now it doesn't look like anybody else noticed. Damn. Yeah, you have no
mm.
idea. You have no idea who it is.
Mm.
Female or
Have I
male?
seen? I haven't seen it before. See male, female.
Male,
Still saw it happen.
male, Eluskin, human, middle aged. Um,
Mm.
he's got
Mm. Okay, well, I got you. Lucius spots something in his drink, and uh, he takes because I had a deck of cards, right? Can I do a sleight of hand?
yeah, yeah. Decided
Can I fl-
to do
can I
what?
flick the card? Can I like flick the card at him or something?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. You could flick a card at him. Yeah.
uh, okay, so I don't know. I'm gonna see Lucius look over. He looks over at there's Maravin. I put the shit in his drink, right?
Yeah.
He looks at Maravin. He's like, does he see me? Does he notice that I notice, or
No. No.
he just? Oh, okay,
And you
okay.
know you can tell nobody else has noticed. You're
Nobody,
the only one.
nobody noticed.
And yeah, nobody else noticed.
So I'm gonna keep that to myself. I'm gonna keep walking away, and can I make my way? Can I make a sleight of hand check and write a note and drop the note off to the lusting dude with the
Yeah.
sleight of hand and
Yeah.
bluff?
So you go over to Bando, who's like overseeing the air,
Oh, Bando's over there.
It's
Bando's in the
it's
Bando's in the spot with me.
this is at
Uh,
This is at Fair Fortune Hall. This is at his place.
uh, Bando's in the spot with me. This might
Yeah.
turn different. I might. Okay, yeah. All right.
So you
You
go
didn't
over to
say Bando's there.
yeah, Bando's there. You
Let's
go
say
over to
Bando's there.
Bando, and he's like, pretty
Uh,
much telling you
I'm
he,
leaning over. I'm leaning
he
over at Bando, and I'm like, "Hey, I might have a little issue here. These guys here, I might have to do some things tonight." Eddie goes, "These guys here jumped my friend, and that Aluskin over there, they drugged his drink on some rapey shit. So I don't know what the fuck is getting to happen with that. Because Mervin gives me the type. He like it rough type. He drags somebody out of here on a late night type. I don't know.
he
So if Mervin is moving like that, we probably need to get him up out of here. Definitely should call the cops if he's fucking.
Bando Bando looks over at the guy that you're talking about, and he's like, well, yeah, I've noticed Cullen and his gang here. I was expecting them to pull something. They don't come here often because I make sure they get kicked out. I
Mm.
was but he was
Do they
like,
be drugged?
he goes, I was waiting for them to try and pull something before we had to
Mm,
handle it. And he looks over at the guy
mm,
that you point to, and he goes, oh. That's Tyndall Delimbier. He's a he's a Wainwright, but he's also a member of an old and rich noble family here in Daggerford.
It's too
The
bad
Lim- the
Savin Wainwright isn't a character
the
yet.
the Delimbiers have been here. The Delimbier family has been here
Oh, Watson, you remember
since the
him? Yes.
almost
Yeah, man.
Endless deck, boy. I'm sorry. All right, go ahead.
the Delimbier
Mm,
family has been here since almost the founding of Daggerford itself. He's the
mm.
owner. He's the owner of the Broken Hoof and Axle Shop.
Knowledge local. I'm just doing knowledge local Dell Buyer.
The Limby, from what you know, the Delimbier family is one of the oldest noble families of Daggerford, claiming to have been there
Okay.
since its founding, and so Tyndall must be one of the few living members of that family here in Daggerford.
Mm.
Um, he's known to have quite a gambling problem.
Mm. Wow. Okay. Um, Lucian looks over at him. He's like, is he in some sort of trouble? And could he use my assistance to, as he says, the bando? He says that to Bando, or should we just let this play out?
He goes, no. Even though
Mm.
he goes, that's really he says this he's like we can't stand for that, this, especially with a member of the Limbire family. I don't know what these guys are up to, but it's got to be stopped.
Mm.
He's like, I would let
Well,
Tyndall. He's like, I'd let Tyndall know.
bet Lucian. Lucian laughs and he goes, "Oh, I guess I have to put on another act." And he starts. He grabs another bottle. He grabs a couple more bottles off the bars. Starts walking on over to Delaware, and he's like, what was his name?
Tyndall,
Tyndall.
yeah,
He's
you know,
he goes. He starts wandering on over, stumbling, and just as he gets over to Tyndall bar, he goes, "Tyndall!" And he screams and he throws his hands up and he knocks over like all the drinks on the table, the spiked drink. My boy! And he knocks over the drinks, all the drinks on the table and shit. He's like, Lucius drunk. He's like, oh no. He's like, my bad. I don't have to roll anything for that. Am I
um,
good? Bluff or
I mean, yeah, roll another. You could roll a bluff.
okay. Let's go.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ah, completely, perfectly, fucking believable. The whole act, everything.
Damn, son.
So while you're doing all that, you can see
Yeah, 20.
You can see Mervyn going over to Cullen, and like you see him nudge Cullen. Cullen looks at him, and Mervyn just shakes his head and like nods over. Cullen looks over in like the direction of where you and Tyndall are at, and Tyndall's like, oh, watch it there, my drink.
He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he pops open the bottle. He hits he does a cool, he flips the bottle upside down, grabs it, taps the bottle on the edge of the table, takes the cap off. He's like, here you go, my friend,
He's like,
courtesy of the Night Watch. And he says, courtesy of the Night Watch. And he slams it on the table.
so Tyndall
And
grabs it and he nods. He's like, well, to the night watch.
then he goes,
Goes to the door.
ah! And Lucius screams, and he screams to the rest of the bar, and he goes, to the fucking Night Watch. And he's there. And he piles the drink again. And he looks over at Cullen and he goes, remember, Cullen, you're still a bitch. And
Damn.
And he
Has the
smiles.
spawn
He
in
says
there?
he's
That's crazy.
he says it to actually, you know what? I'll say that to Maravin. Like
He's focused.
he'll
You
give
can see
Maravin
that.
a slight smile. He gives Maravin a slight smile and he whispers like, "You're still a bitch," while the crowd is cheering.
That mental
See,
damage.
you see him go over to after you say that, you walk away. You glance back over. You can see Cullen looks frustrated. You see Marvin like looking at Cullen, and then Cullen's like looks down. He looks down towards Marvin. It's like they're exchanging words just by looking at each other. And
Mm.
Cullen just nods real quick. Marvin turns towards Lucian,
And
and
can I sense motive?
yeah,
Mm-hmm. give me that. Give me that. Give me that.
you could see
Give me that.
this innuendo going on here.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're not sure what's
Ugh.
going on.
Mm.
You're not sure exactly what any of that meant,
Well,
but
since I'm not too
he,
yeah, sure.
but Maravin, he turns towards Lucian and he just does this really focused, hard glare at him, and
Hmm.
you're glaring back, but there's this strange sensation as if your mind feels a little fuzzy.
Mm.
Um, and then Maravin, does he? I need to look up how this roll a will save and throw with a -2 penalty.
Mm.
Mm.
I think.
Is it, it's all the way up here.
Okay, instead
My
of
bad.
physical and somatic, the two psychic. Okay,
You said what -2?
yes, with a -2.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Come on, 20. Yeah.
11 plus 3 is 14, and the DC is fuck is this DC? Okay. You feel this strange at do you feel like you like oh man your mind's feeling a little fuzzy. You also feel as if something was trying to assault your mind. You're not sure what, but like you shake it off.
Mm. Lucian Lucian looks at he shakes it off for a second. Do I know where it's coming from? Do I know who it's coming from? Because it's can I sense that at least?
You don't know what it was. You don't know what was trying to affect
I
you,
would have
but you know
it was an attack.
some sort of supernatural or magical attack was
You know it
yeah
wasn't good.
Attempted.
it was attempted. But you didn't
Mm.
see you didn't see Merovin move his hands or his lips as if he was casting anything. He had
Hmm.
this intense stare at you as if he was concentrating, and
Right.
but and yeah, and he continues to stare.
Lucian smile. Lucian like shakes it off. He's like, hmm. He's like, huh. He's like, I guess it's He looks at Merrigan, and he grabs a bottle, and he says, "Hey, Merrigan, catch!" And he's like, "On the house!" And he throws the bottle at Merrigan's head, like as a playful though, not as a like an assault, but like here,
Oh, okay. You're not like trying to
like
chuck it to
like
deal
like
damage. You're like
yeah, like to deal
tossing it.
damage. But
Okay.
I'm talking to break his concentration real quick. And
Mhm.
can I use intimidation,
Yeah, you
like to
can
scare,
yeah,
like
you can
this?
describe how you intimidate him.
Um, Lucian just picks up the bottle, flips it around a couple times, and just wings it at him like at a mad high speed. When he screams like it's point blank. He just kind of just a thing to make him flinch. You know, see if I could get him to buck a little bit,
So like a
kind of
demoralize,
like a
demoralize
demoralized,
him. Okay.
like like ha. With a, so, I don't know. It's already went there. You
So
roll.
you having fun with
22. All
it?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he seems a little shaken. You can tell.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
he tries not to show it, but like he kind of like steps back.
Alicia
Um,
grins and he says, "See, I knew you were pussy. You and you and you." And he starts pointing at all of them. And he's like, "And you and you. I
Cullen,
smell it. I smell it."
Cullen,
Lucian's a badass.
I
Cullen's,
feel like Lucian is what everyone's actually feeling.
so
And he says,
You're like an
Lucian
outlet
says
for
one
what
thing over there. He
everyone's
goes, "You haven't
actually
seen the
feeling in the
signs
party.
around town?" He's like, "We've been waiting for you guys to come back."
the other patrons looking over. Um,
Can I,
one page,
can I, yeah, go.
one patron in particular who's got a few, um, kind of like he's got a few courtesans with him.
Mm,
And he stands out amongst like the other patrons, and they kind of give him uh like a wide berth, like they don't really get too close to him. He's got that VIP status apparently.
He's in the VIP.
Uh,
mm,
but you see like he's got this like uh this dark blue with silver trim like open shirt like open chest like vest that he's wearing and he's uh he's got like this this in a ponytail he's got like this bright blonde hair and the unmistakable point of the elven ears and the angular face and
mm,
bronze skin is a sun elf. Um, he's got a few courtesans with him. He's just enjoying. But you notice that like um, he was in the middle of gambling, playing some cards, and he finishes his play, and he kind of like walks over, and like he just stands there, and he's just like watching like intensely,
mm,
like between he's watching you, but he's also like looking between you and Colin and his gang, but you could tell you could tell the look on his face like he seems interested in you and
mm,
what you're doesn't look like he's like gonna interfere or anything, but like he's like intensely watching the situation.
mm,
Whereas other people are like glancing back and forth, but they're going back to their gambling. They're more in the
mm,
other people are more in the mindset of like, huh, this is one of those situations, but I need to get my
mm.
money. So
Right,
um
right. Lucian goes, Looks around. He's like, maybe we should make a wager. And he looks over. He looks over at Cullen, and he goes, maybe we should make a bet.
Owen looks over to
I,
between his crew, and then he looks at Maravin, and you can see him like you see him snarl and grit his teeth and look at Maravin, and Maravin's just like um he like glances up at Roth, not Roth, glances up at Cullen. Said glances up at
That's
Cullen.
hilarious.
Glances up at
Roth is just a
Cullen and
fill-in for every other orc ever.
look, not all
That's
half
just
orcs look
funny.
alike, Lewis. You fucking nerd.
You freaking ripped
um,
Yeah.
So
um,
he looks over to he looks back at Lucian while Lucian's talking. Lucian, roll another will save. Still with the -2 penalty.
Damn, how many fucking will
oh,
saves?
who?
You,
From Maryland?
y-
From Maryland?
what you're suspecting.
Well, I mean, if he was shaken by the intimidation, shouldn't that have done something?
Well, he's shaking. Like
Demoralized? Is the
he has a -2 to attacks and penalties and skills, but nothing that
motherfucker?
he's.
You guys are about to have a penalty with a fucking bullet.
But
Hmm.
You said 3.
yeah,
Um,
plus three bonus.
come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Oh no.
Ooh, no.
And as you're
That should have
talking,
been a 12.
you feel your mind. You feel it again, and then it goes away. It goes away, and as you know, you continue looking at Cullen and Podrick and Rastafan with like that
No.
with that
Nah.
with that anger and resentment and that desire to put them in their place. And but as you look at Maravin, you're like
It's like I like them. They're friendly.
you're like
Mm.
why do you
I
look at
want to
Maravin
drink
and
with
you look
them.
at Maravin, you're like
Charm.
and
Sorry.
your mind is telling you um it's telling you I wish my friend Maravin would get away from those guys. They're not good guys to hang around with.
Mm,
And we'll leave it there because yeah,
yeah,
you
that's
have
it.
you have been charmed.
Gotcha.
Mm.
Damn, it's only a matter of time.
He turned into that Dave Chappelle character, Bigums. What's that name? What was that
Tyrone
character?
Biggums?
Tyrone Biggums.
You've been
Yo, that was
charmed. You see Maravin as a best friend, like
a best friend.
best friend.
Mm,
But you,
Yeah.
but you, but you still hate everybody else though. You be like, you
Right.
still like
Yeah, he'll
Cullen,
right.
say
you're a
shit out
bitch.
there.
So yeah, let's yeah, it's only just Mervin, but everybody else you still see them the same. Like Cullen, you're a
Right.
bitch. The other two dudes, so
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You see him. He doesn't control you, but you perceive. Yeah, you see him as a trusted friend and ally, and you will perceive anything that Maravin says and his actions in the most favorable way. Um.
Mm,
Charmed? That's crazy.
So
Mm.
yeah, as
mm.
you're busy talking, Maravin's like, Lucian, let's step outside and get away from them. We don't. I don't need to be around these guys. Let's go outside.
Lucian Lucian laughs. He goes, Marvin, my boy, listen, listen, listen.
What up?
There's something
Damn, gotcha.
I don't want to go just yet because I still need to talk to Cullen because Cullen and he slaps Cullen.
you, you pi- you
Damn.
you pimp slap him? You bitch slap him?
You go to
No,
slap Cullen.
I'm gonna go to slap Cullen.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Lucian is so cool.
Lucian
We'll
is
leave it
out of
there.
control.
Cause he can actually get Lucian doesn't want to go, but
Right.
he can try and he can try and talk under the charm
You,
person. He can try and he can try and talk
uh,
Lucian and tell him, no, let's go
yeah,
outside, and he would have to
right.
win. He would have to win
A post charisma
an
check.
opposed charisma
Yeah,
check. So
And Lucian's
yeah,
gonna win that. Lucian got
yeah.
crazy charisma.
That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying. I'm trying.
well,
I'm trying.
we'll pick
But
up
I'm sorry
and.
to drag it out so late, guys.
Nah, it was fun,
Nah,
Oh
man.
man, that
no,
It
was
was
no, it's
good.
fun.
Nah, that
cool.
was
It
fine,
was
I'm
man.
worth
trying to.
it.
Listen, do you? Everyone
This
stuck
was
around
fun.
because they wanted to be here, so that was good.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm
Trying to
glad
exactly.
people stayed.
trying to yeah. I mean, trying to give everybody their time, and I know next
I
week
was
we'll finish up with Lucian, and then I got some stuff for
this
Sophia,
guy
so she'll
Lucian
be.
got balls of steals, man. This dude is fearless.
Once he said Bando in the cut, he was like,
I just
"Shit."
say he's a. I'm telling you, he's
You
not
know,
scared of
yeah,
nobody.
he like, yeah, I got a band that got my back just in case.
No,
Just
no, he's not. He's not. No, Luke's not scared of nobody.
That's
Not
true.
scared
Even
of
we
without
need
nobody.
Lucian
Bando,
to feel like that with his own
even
party.
without
Even with,
Bando,
Hmm
even without
even
Bando
without
being
Band,
there, that
I
dude was
was.
doing his own
I didn't.
thing.
I didn't even realize Bando was there, bro.
Exactly, exactly. That's freaking godlike.
I didn't even realize Bando was there, bro. Lucia was
He
just
went,
gonna
No,
stir shit
you
up.
know what it was.
he went there
I think
solo,
you probably thought it
Wolverine
was
style.
at the Lady Luck Tavern, but like the Lady Luck
Um,
Taverns, they do people do the gambling at the Fair Fortune Hall. They do gambling there,
yeah. Um,
and like the Lady Luck Tavern's more like uh hang out and drink and talk. They don't really they don't have it's not set up to be like a big gambling area. Fair Fortune Hall is
yeah. I'm gonna
that's set up more like a kind of like a casino style kind of thing.
I got something for that. I'm gonna do a little opposed like I know how I'm gonna play this.
Mm,
you,
do
you
it.
got you gonna have to RP just as hard as me to get me out of that motherfucker. That was fun, man. That was fun.
Yeah, word.
That was mad fun.
All right.
All right, GG's
Next
All
All
everyone.
right,
right,
up
y'all.
guys.
Good,
Next
Yeah,
week.
is
good
man.
night. Good night,
All right,
Good
everyone.
night,
guys.
All
fellas.
right, night,
Peace.
man.
Yeah, man. Good session.
Dave over here laughing. Said, calling these motherfuckers out, man. There be fuckery afoot. Oh shit.
No, that was fun, man. Sorry, I was hoping kinda that Adelar was still there when
Dude,
Helen
I
showed up.
was hoping I was there and drunk.
I know.
This dude Lou said, "Nope, you're not there," because he knew
No.
what time it was with me, boy.
Yeah.
Right,
No,
right,
this is
right,
a night. It's
right.
just this is they
Yeah.
come in on a night that
Yo,
it's just Lucian there.
yeah, I bet,
Mm.
nigga, I'd have been summoning everything.
It would have been Adler just had a good time that night with Lucian. They had a bonding
We
moment.
should be. We had
Little
a nice bonding moment.
those little anime montages where you see
Hmm.
the scene where
Hmm.
like they're drinking
Everybody's
and
eating ramen and
cheering, they're dancing to the
shit.
music. Fucking Adler's throwing up, Lucian's picking him up. Like,
I wonder if Pale Lady got drunk that night too. She probably did.
Right. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to
man, so
describe the
he's bringing her
heartbeat.
around like everywhere. I guess I gotta
Yeah,
say that like
he at least
Adler's
tries to.
I'd say like definitely Adler. I mean, he already was a talk of the town, but like he's a bigger talk now because of what's constantly following him. Um,
Hmm.
Yeah. If
there's been plenty of times where like the guards came by because people freaked out, but like um
Mm.
they wouldn't do anything to him, or Sophia would mention something, or like it got to the point where like as long as it wasn't disturbing anyone or attacking anyone, it was okay.
right.
Plus, he
If, if
now that he's part of a guild of a mages guild in town, um, like he's more free to like use his magic, and obviously in a non-hostile,
right.
non-controlling, kind of
I
way.
mean, if an establishment or if the guards told him to leave, he would probably
Mm.
give him a little lip, but he would leave. He wouldn't really
Mm.
like fight or anything. So
Lou, quick question. Can I bluff fate? Like, so if I was like, oh, I want to slap color, but I want to just whiff, like on purpose, like I want to miss on purpose. Is that like a part of a bluff fate?
that is a feint.
It's a fate. Okay.
Like, what do you mean by a feint? Like, fake the
Like not like I want
fake
to
the
swing
attack
and
to
just miss on like
throw him
yeah
off?
yeah yeah like I just want to swing and miss on purpose
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of
I would
deal.
call it I would call it a feint, and if he falls
Okay,
for it, he'll like flinch or try to dodge it, but that's not really what you're
gotcha.
doing.
Okay,
Yeah, and
because I want to kind of
then
I think I think I want to like RP it. Like I'm gonna put out when we start up. We'll start up from when I wind back. Like I'm gonna cock back and I want to do some silly shit.
all right,
I'm gonna do some silly shit. I like it. I
alrighty,
like it. I like it. Ah,
all
good
right
shit.
then. Continue next week.
Oh man.
Yeah, we'll continue with him, and then his will be shoot. I think I have that, and I have another one for him. But after his thing is done, I'm gonna do Sophia's stuff. She's got a couple
Can I
things going on.
can I roll for knowledge lore vampire
I
or
have a Sophia thing. Actually, it's a Sophia
oh
And Adler thing because
okay okay yep
I have
all right
something where Drayson wants Adler to come to the monastery, but to bring Sophia with him.
mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be
All right
coming
bet
up. And then Sophilia's gonna have another one involving her and Calden, who kind of takes her out on a
uh-oh
takes her out on a little bit of a
mm-mm.
little bit of a
With the-
kind of a
the-
date there.
awkward RP
I mean, he's not gonna call it a date, but like he's gonna
oh
invite her
yeah
to.
no
He's
no
gonna
y'all better
invite
go
her
on a
to come.
date
Yeah,
y'all
he's
better
gonna.
go on a date
It's gonna.
y'all better
It's
go on a
gonna
date
basically be a date without them calling it one. So
I
basically,
can't wait to see
a.
I can't wait to see it nah
Yeah.
man that's gonna be too funny um
Yep.
and
Calden and Sophelia. Yeah, 'cause
everybody else got to get a turn too because I know Adelar still got to go and get
Hayes. Yeah.
his
Calden is
like
attracted
we
to
are
Sophia. He's definitely like he's actually got a surprise for her, and he's hoping
mm,
he's gonna use. He's not the type to use his noble
um
like his family's riches, but he's about to
right.
use it for this one thing that he thinks that she'll be happy with.
Where did you? Is this where you expected me to take it today? The color situation.
Honestly, I have on my thing. I have on my thing the two ways this could have gone down.
Uh-huh.
Either he does nothing or he leaves and informs everybody at night, in the middle of the night, or he fucks with them. So I had both situations prepared just in
Okay.
case. And
Okay.
but
Okay.
you picked the one I figured Lucian would pick. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
actually
Because
starting
that's
starting to
something. Listen,
understand
that's
these characters.
yeah. Like that's something Lucian would do. Lucian would like talk shit. Like he would talk shit. Like just enough, but like on the sly tip where he's like having fun. Where it's like, is he being an asshole? Or is he just drunk? Just enough to stir them up and then be like, all right, I want to see if I can get them to react and do something stupid and see if I can give something up. Manage to save old boy for the meantime.
And then I got this one for you, and then I got one more for Lucian but this time this thing is gonna happen at the Lady Luck Tavern and not at the Fair Fortune Hall. This other thing.
Nice. Shit. Fuck it.
But, all right.
All right, bro.
All right, Peter.
Peace.